What is this? Power to the people. A 2021 data breach at Twitch's finances revealed that Piker had been paid a bit more than 2.8 million since 2019, or roughly 1 million per year. It's Piker's God-given right to make as much money as he likes in America's free market economy, but it does seem more than a little hypocritical for a self-described socialist who constantly denounces the greed of the rich to be enjoying such a wildly lucrative income and luxurious lifestyle. Bro, voluntary donations. Okay? Yeah, broke boy, suck my dick. Okay? Now you have to listen to me more, right? Isn't that how this works? It's so funny. They're just like all LSF drama, slowly but surely. We've moved on. We're going back in time. It's like media is trying to do it. It didn't work when every fucking gamer on the planet lost their dang minds over it. It's not going to work when you guys are doing it either, dumbass. Yeah, what will I do? What will I do in this new vector of attack that I have never encountered before? This like totally cynical fucking way of attacking someone, to be like, hey, how dare you demand a more just, equitable redistribution of and productive output in American society when you yourself are fortunate. It's like, and I recognize that. And I don't think you need to win the lottery every goddamn day like I have to be able to live a normal life. How is that a crazy concept? They're pocket watching. Yeah, and it's so stupid. You should just tweet at him and be like, silence, peasant. Yeah. Happy A? Unc, did you blast off? I just blasted off. I forgot to do it until now, until this moment. I blasted off now. Particularly that around flying first class on a commercial flight, because first class is just how everyone used to fly comparatively. I mean, all right, financially, you know? True. As I am very clear about it, I have a revenue system that entirely relies on voluntary subscriptions. You don't have to subscribe, but if you do to the Piker Broadcasting Service for $6 a month or for free with a Twitch Prime, you can continue funding the stream, funding the show, and it doesn't really matter, you know? So uncomfortable when you were standing against the wall surrounded by those girls when Duke came and got to you to go to Rage's room. Y'all's reaction to the chatter shit talking the wife sent me. Yeah. Mark spent like 30 minutes of his radio show yelling about you being the enemy. At one point, he said people can do whatever they want to you. They're getting more unhinged every day. Wait, Mark Levin said people should kill me? That's awesome. That's cool. Bettina C4, thank you for the 10 tier 1 gifted. Aisha Esquire, thank you for the 10 tier 1 gifted. Piker Broadcasting Service, we don't have big donors, just big boners. Respect. True.
His wife.
Ooh.
I also started shit talking the wife. A few days later, she sees the messages. And she's super pissed, of course.
No! Close presents with a 200 gifted. What the fuck? South Carolina Socialist. Thank you for the 10. Okay, Pacalolo. Thank you for the 5. Yeah, that was crazy. You guys should go watch it. If you definitely watch it. This community, a lot of wonderful and colorful people in it. First chat with no micro penis collar. True. Penises has been growing in this community. I noticed. You know. No, only big boners works. Piker Broadcasting Service. You already know. For you, the people, do the people. Third wave seeds for next week's Hassan outrage farming. For the love of God, San Francisco, do not replace Nancy Pelosi with a guy who campaigns with a bigot. Yeah, I agree. Should definitely stay away from Scott Wiener, who campaigned with Richard Hanania, who is a white supremacist. Hey, yo, why is our Arakshi going to Islamabad? Iran like an abused wife going to the same man for a beating? Yeah. We've been... That's funny. Keith Ellison, shout out. Wage theft is real and workers deserve every dollar that they earn. I created the first F unit in the history of my office to make sure people get paid what they're owed, to hold bad actors accountable, and we've already brought back hundreds of thousands of dollars in Minnesota workers. Sheesh! Yeah, this one, dude, look at that. 33 seconds, 2.2 million views, 62,000 likes. This one did numbers this one put numbers on the board. He's going for bilateral talks, also going to Oman and Russia. This was so funny. What is this?
Sure. Say it. You gotta say it. You gotta say it. You gotta say Palestine. I said it the OG way.
All right, what are we doing right now?
Okay.
Oh, that's funny.
So
Can't believe he got that. That was crazy. I can't believe I lost because I was kind of cleaning up. I don't know if you guys saw. I was cooking a little bit, Talking about also opens the door to surplus labor value theft, aka Marxism. The Trojan horse is upon us. When you mention wage theft, you are not even going into surplus value. Yes, I mean in my opinion, it's in line with the same concept. But yeah, nice gift, chatter. You said you're gonna do something with Sean Hannity. Yeah, Sean Hannity is himself in baby oil preparing. He's getting ready for it. Yeah, this was the new chat, 2 hours long. Go watch it. Here it is. I'm hooking up with my dad's best friend. Chad Vice with your rage. Just be sure to not burp in the mic. You would insta lose the debate. Trial run for eventual Tucker Carlson showdown, but he has to face Fox News' 7 evil anchors first. That's funny. Hassan Piker confirms upcoming debate with Sean Hannity on Hang Out with Sean Hannity podcast. Yeah. I had a tweet about this too, chatter. I don't know why you won't point to my funny about it. I said Sean Hannity is shaving his whole body for this. That was funny, right? Sean Hannity is burping his worm in anticipation. Oh my God. This one did crazy numbers too. Nice. Murder, legal. Nice. Imagine Sean Hannity asks this tweet up and asks you to explain it. I'm going to be like, yeah. Yeah. You shaved your body for this. Don't lie. One more aura clip.
see if I can put it in like this, like that one.
I've seen you hit that before, gang.
I mean, I've never said that either, but it's time to believe,
What? He did. Yo. You did it.
That was swag. I had crazy swag. Oh yeah, Vox got a Hassan Piker isn't Israel is China. That was funny, and it's still Israel, by the way. They just don't want to say it's Israel because they realize that the whole Israel thing is just is not working at all. So they have to be like, oh, actually, it wasn't. It's actually about he's anti-democratic or whatever. Here, let's start with Mark Levin.
Hey, folks, Mark Levin
About the concept of
that it was okay to murder an insurance CEO that mounts a tongue who killed
apparently
60 million people. Is
he
one of
ends
the
up
great.
advocating to kill me on this. Master Shake does. Hold on.
Greatest
Here.
human to ever walk the planet. That 9/11 was a good thing. It ought to be celebrated. That October 7 was a good thing, and you don't give a damn about the rapes and the debauchery. That it's okay to steal. That you believe in stealing. Let me ask you a question, ladies and gentlemen. Should society give a person like that the rights and the privileges and the freedoms that he would deny the rest of us? Should society do that? Put aside the Bill of Rights and everything. I'm not talking about that. Should society, any society, but our society, a free society, should that society protect or confer on that individual these privileges and these rights when that individual uses those privileges and rights in hopes of destroying ours? I'm talking about a man named Hassan Piker, who most of you have never heard of before. Hassan Piker is an Islamist jihadi. Born in the United States, raised in Turkey, indoctrinated, came back to the United States, went to college in the United States, worked for a show called The Young Turks, which is a Marxist Islamist show. Broke off when his podcast started to take off, about 8-9 years ago. Now he's embraced by Democrats. Here he is at the New York Times yesterday on their podcast, which is one of the biggest in the country. And they're treating him like he's just a regular guest. Cut 14, go.
Engels wrote about the concept of social murder. And Brian Thompson, as the United Healthcare CEO, was engaging in a tremendous amount of social murder, the systematized forms of violence, the structural violence of poverty, the for-profit paywalled of healthcare in the country that are tremendous amounts of pain, tremendous amounts of violence, tremendous amounts of deaths. And that was a fascinating story for me, because Americans are very draconian about crime and punishment. They're very black and white on this issue. And yet, because of the pervasive pain that the private healthcare system had created for the average American, I saw so many people immediately understand why this death had taken place.
I want you to think about this for a minute. We have the best healthcare system in the world that takes care of more people with quality healthcare than any other in the world. Is it imperfect? Yes. What isn't imperfect that mankind is involved in? But it's an incredible system that saves lives left and right, not just in our country, but all over the world. But that's not even the point. He's justifying the murder of a CEO of an insurance company, blaming that CEO for the death of untold numbers of people, or the hardship or the pain of untold numbers of people. And he's citing Engels, who was, attached at the hip with Marx and Engels, who wrote so much of what Marx is credited with writing.
I love that.
He's a Marxist, is this guy Piker. He's an Islamist, is this guy Piker, as I keep explaining over and over again about the marriage, the fusion of the two.
I'm a Marxist Islamist is really funny. Like, Marxist is fine, yes, but Islamist? Buddy, you and I, who has more fundamentalist values, you think? Like, it's just, it's these guys say all the fucking time. It's like, brother, you and the things advocate is infinitely closer to the average Islamist. He called T.Y. Marxist Islamist? That's so funny. Okay.
Piker has not only celebrated Engels, he celebrated Mao, who killed 60 million people. But he celebrates Mao, the CEO of the insurance company United. He didn't kill anybody. It certainly wasn't his goal. It was Mao's purpose to eliminate the non-believers, just as the jihadis believe in eliminating the non-believers. You think I'm kidding about this stuff? I am not. So Piker is treated like just another commentator by the New York Times, by other media outlets. Democrats want to be on his program, want to be platformed there like Ro Khanna, who represents one of the wealthiest districts in America, Silicon Valley, and others who wish to be on his program. This is a man who celebrated 9/11, says he'll always celebrate 9/11. This is a man who talked about killing Senator Scott because he didn't like his position on Medicaid. But there's more. Cut 15, go.
I'm pro piracy all the way, like across the board. Would you pirate a car? Yes. If you could.
Stealing. Hijack.
If one could pirate a classic thing back in the day, the government funded anti-piracy.
Bro, I don't know what it is. I genuinely don't know. I feel like I have this effect on the Poison generation a little bit, where they just like lose their fucking mind. They're like, I don't know, the fact that someone like myself can have any voice in mainstream news reminds them of how close they are to their end, right? Like, maybe I just remind them of their age, remind them of death and all the fear that comes along with it. But this is not like a normal amount of anger, right? It's not like fear baiting and saying like, oh, this guy, classic. He's like the classic fake commie. He's blah, blah, blah. No, they're like, this man wants to, a Republican senator, to do a 9/11 every day. Like, they don't have like a of, and I know what it is. I think they just like, they see this and they're like, how could this be happening? How could a person whose opinions are fairly mild, adjusted to the rest of the world, certainly, How could a guy with such radical opinions have any placement in mainstream news? And I think because they're so used to winning. They're so used to dominating discourse. This shit has less than 3,000 views on YouTube in 17 hours. Why are we even watching it? Dog, do you know who this is? You know, Donald Trump will regularly post calling Mark Levin will literally tell people to go watch, like tune into his show. Did you just think this is some random dickhead podcaster? Is that what you think is going on? Oh, look, why are you giving attention to this like random irrelevant podcaster who couldn't even get more than K views in 16 hours? That's what this is his fucking radio show. He's put this tonight on the Mark Levin show or whatever the fucking Mark Levin show is, which happens to be Donald Trump's favorite broadcast. I have a conservative dad in his mid-late 60s, and I legit thought every person knew who Mark Levin was because I listened to him growing up every day with my dad in the car. Lamau. Yeah. He's like every boomer whose worth is over is tapped into the Mark Levin broadcast. Okay, they're locked in. Go talk to your racists. Probably know who fucking Mark Levin is. If you're over the age of 65, you know that's the older you get, the more likely that you love Mark Levin. He sucks, by the way, but I think it's a bad precedent and really harmful for you to be platforming Mark Levin to your audience. My bio dad fucking worships Mark Levin. We don't talk because of his brain rot. Yeah. Rush Limbaugh and Mark Levin. It's just funny. It's literally Trump calls him the great Mark Levin. He doesn't even just say, oh, hey, you guys should go tune into Mark Levin show. He goes, tune in to the great Mark Levin's broadcast where he will be offering the next steps on what we must do as far as Iran. Like, these guys writing American foreign policy. And you're over here like, what the fuck do you care about this dude? Yeah, Mark Levin is the Hasanabi for every fucking boomer, okay? Right now, at least.
It is would be like, do we steal a car? I'm like, yeah, sure. If I could get away with it, if it was easy as, pirating IP.
No, I know Mark Levin calls him a great one, but it doesn't matter. The fact that the president is also calling him that is crazy.
I would do it. Yeah.
Would you dine and dash?
First of all, this guy's a multimillionaire, and I guarantee if somebody stole anything from him, he'd have a whole different attitude. But it doesn't matter. My question to you is...
I like that he cut me off from me right before I say, like, no, of course I wouldn't steal from, I wouldn't dash. I like that he...
We go through this freedoms and protections them. Murder. God. I don't know how he's still walking freely, to be perfectly honest with you. Go ahead.
Never. Tip 35%. Mike's, come on.
No, I wouldn't do that. And if I saw somebody doing that, I'd probably pay for their meal.
Yeah. Would you steal a book from the library?
Never.
Would you steal from the Louvre?
Yes.
I would not be logistically capable of executing such a fact, but would
now,
I...
These New York Times interviewers think this is a joke.
Because
Giggling.
it is!
Stupidly. What is it with the cackling and the giggling? Kamala Harris, Tucker Carlson, these people, what is that? Go ahead.
On every news story of people that I see doing it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's cool. We got cool crimes like that. Bank robberies, right? Stealing priceless artifacts. Nature. I feel like way cooler than the 7,000.
Well, you should give out his address, keep his door open, tell everybody what kind of car he has and where it is, and then we can all be cool, right, Mr. Producer?
Right,
Give us
Mr.
access
Producer.
to his bank account. Yeah, we all want to be cool. Over at National Review on Charles C.W. Cook, who's a brilliant writer, he says Hassan Piker is the enemy. The lefty streamer repeatedly made clear his disdain toward the fundamental rules that keep our society together. Contrary to the mewling declaration of the eternal political weather.
Yeah, Mark Levin heard women laughing at something I said and went, why are women happy? I've never heard this noise coming out of a woman before. He is heavily alluding that you and the other libs he mentioned are demonic. That's why he brought up the cackling bullshit. Yeah, it's funny. Are you scared Trump will talk about you by the end of the weekend? A little bit. He even had his call-ins at the end, and some boomer said Hassan Piker is the enemy. Yeah, I do worry a little bit that like some fucking right-wing boomer is going to try to me, you know?
Ezra Klein, it seems clear to me that the way to describe the online left's latest darling.
Because like, look, the most prominent is Tiller the baby killer, right? That's what. Oh my God, it's not Rush Limbaugh. Bill O'Reilly would say every night on his new broadcast. The doctor that was performing abortions was a baby killer, and someone actually killed him. Like, literally went to his church that he was at church service and shot and fucking killed him. So I do worry a little bit that like they're trying to put the beat on me. They're trying to put a crosshair on me in the same way where they're like talking this much to try to get one of their fucking fans that's like 65 years old to use his arsenal of weapons on me. You know, trigger a little bit of stochastic terrorism. And great. I'll admit, it's not fucking great. I don't like it, but what are you going to do?
The Twitch streamer Hassan Piker is indeed as the enemy. In a rambling group chat that was filmed and transcribed by the New York Week, you heard part of it, Piker repeatedly made it clear that he is disdain toward the fundamental rules that keep a society together. Among other things, Piker defended the murder of the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson, whom had been guilty of a tremendous amount of social murder, suggested that he would happily steal a car if he could get away with it, and laid out a complex framework for when it is acceptable to shoplift, when the victim is big corporations, and when it is not, when the victim is taxpayer-funded with union labor and adjusted prices. Also, okay, per Piker is IP theft, stealing movies, things like that, to which Piker's interlocutors, the Times' Nadja Spieligman, and the New Yorker's Julia Tolentino responded, wow, that all seems utterly psychotic. Have you considered getting professional help? Nah, I'm just kidding. In reality, Tolentino responded by explaining that she's opposed to profoundly selfish, immoral, collectively destructive actions, such as getting iced coffee in a plastic cup or flying on airplanes for pleasure, but that she's supportive of selfless, moral, collectively constructive actions, such as blowing up a pipeline. And Spieligman responded by saying, I can relate to what we're saying, Gia. It is hard to live ethically in an unethical society. Sick. Is it? I must confess, he writes, that I do not find it so. But then, unlike Piker, Tolentino, and Spieligman, what a peculiar law firm that would make, I do not spend my days sitting on sofas pondering aloud whether it would be proper to rob the Louvre. No doubt, this makes me some sort of plotting, unfashionable reactionary, but I'm rather steadfastly of the view that the norms that the Times trio are hoping to dismantle are the core non-negotiable building blocks of a civilization. It's not, in fact, acceptable to murder people because you think they are social murderers.
It's funny because, like, I know that you're not demonstrate intellectual curiosity when you have these sorts of conversations. It's much easier to dismantle a straw man that you design, that your interlocutors or your ideological opponents are engaging in precisely what they're doing here. But the conversation was literally exactly what these guys are fucking complaining about. The ripping apart of the social contract as a consequence of systemic harm that people are experiencing, and how that leads to antisocial behavior, illegal activity, and the people's reception to antisocial behavior like murder, legal behavior, immoral behavior like murder or theft, as angry or as people use at these sorts of things. Because if society's not working for you, you just don't give a shit if it starts not working for anybody else, right? And the argument that I presented over and over again is that the rich are not only violating the social contract with regular, they've also designed society in a way where the social contract is no longer holding for the average person, for the little guy, And that's what it is. That's what's going on here. Guys are so desperate to not have that conversation at all because their job relies on them upholding these systems, upholding this idea that, like, yeah, if you're fucking, if you're a working guy, if you're a guy and you're failing to make ends meet, that's kind of your own moral failing. that this system is the best out there. No better system could ever be designed. And you need to shut the fuck up. You better not even you better not even address any of the.
In fact, acceptable to steal cars if you can get away with it. It is not, in fact, acceptable.
That's a joke. Okay, Mark, calm the fuck down. Mark Levin has juice. No, he does. He has juice because the president loves him.
Shoplift that the store in question is owned by a big corporation. And no, blowing up pipelines is not, in fact, a thing that should be illegal. That isn't. John Locke contended that all individuals possess a natural right to life, liberty, and property. And as a guiding principle, this has served us pretty well. It has not, of course, ended political debate or forced us into universal accord, but it has established a rule that one does not get to infringe upon those things simply because one has deemed oneself exempt. Hassan Parker seems to believe that his reference to Frederick Engels, his social murder concept, is extremely clever. In truth, it represents nothing more than sophistry special pleading. If permitted to do so, everyone could play this game. Piker's argument is that by allocating resources as he did, Brian Thompson killed people. But one could offer precisely the same justification against politicians who run the government healthcare systems that Piker covets, or against.
Wait, what? Is he saying I'm in favor of like Obamacare or something? Like, no. The system itself consistently to the excess deaths to the tune of 68,000 people who don't get the medical coverage because they can't pay for it, and then they fucking die. These are preventable deaths in the wealthiest nation on the planet. Okay? Social murder is the concept that looks at this kind of form of structural violence, the structural violence of poverty, the lack of many, when we have enough resources, when we totally have the wealth to take care of everyone, and says that's a death to the individual no matter what, right? Even if it's invisible, even if it's seen as like business as usual, from the perspective of the victim's family, that's death. And that's precisely my point. Like, a lot of people, even in a country as draconian and as the United States of America, look to the assassination of Brian Thompson, and before they knew who the shooter even was, and some might say we still don't know, right? Allegedly. As soon as they knew what this person's job was, what this person's role was as the CEO of a healthcare company, they understood what was going on. They understood that this was revenge. This is not an endorsement of decentralized modes of violence. This is analysis. If you ask me why people reacted the way that they did, I'm going to give you a fucking honest answer. Okay? We don't need to do a million different versions of throat clearing before we arrive at the, companies create in American society. We have the real numbers. Like I said, the Yale study that showed 68,000 excess deaths take place a year.
Contractors whose budgets do not perfectly inoculate their apartment buildings against arson. Or if one were to be fixated upon his refusal to donate his wealth to the world's poor, against Piker himself. In this country, we do not leave it up to each person to determine what extent each individual is murderable. We insist upon a blanket rule. To chip away at that dictum, even rhetorically, is to play with ancient fire. This guy is disgusting. This guy, Piker. Excuse me, cholera. Absolutely disgusting. And he's a big hit among Democrats and the left right now. Big hit. Same goes for carjacking, you're right, shoplifting, IP theft. It's entirely irrelevant. Whether we are discussing Citarella, Jimmy's Roadside Grocery, or the Greater Manhattan Unionized Cooperative, stealing is verboten. Morality notwithstanding, this injunction provides us with the predictability that is necessary for our culture to flourish. Hassan Piker does not strike me as a particularly thoughtful person, so it's probable that, well, like so many affluent would-be revolutionaries, he's falsely assumed that the stability he enjoys every day is an intrinsic feature of the natural world. It is not. Each time...
I do understand that. You know what? I think part of the reason why these guys freak the fuck out is because someone who has achieved this level of success in the current design of society is not supposed to fucking rock the boat. Because I should not be cognizant of the instability that the average person experiences on a fucking daily basis. Guys like this, they're confident, they're comfortable. They love the current system because they've benefited tremendously from it. I have too, but I also am aware that regardless of my successes, regardless of my fortune, that this is unfucking bearable for the average person, especially because there is an alternative out there where we can live in a more egalitarian society. So these guys freak the fuck out. They're like, dude, shut the fuck up. I think that's part of it as well, where it's like, dude, what are you fucking saying? You're rich. Shut the fuck up. You know, that's what it is. You're fucking up the bag. But what's it is not Mark Levin saying this. What's funny about it is when I see, you know, ordinary working class stiffs, right? Everyday people who barely meet the same systems by yelling at me and reiterating the fact that I have enjoyed tremendous fortune, right? Like the guy. Hassan Piker was literally a fat little rich kid pony. Now he makes a fortune selling Eat the Rich to Nepo commie kids, Lamau. I said, broke motherfuckers would rather kill themselves than hear anybody say a better future is possible. There he is. The chubby little prince steps forward to lead his sheep to a communist utopia. Good job, comrade. I have seen something very weird, sinister, and dare I say pedophilic about a lot of the Zionists here too. It happened to the Shy, where they were like, oh, the perceived victimhood of American Zionists as they tried to defend in Gaza. Well, you were 13 years old when you went to an Epstein party. It's like, that's crazy, man. That's a crazy thing that you just decided. They're like doing this to me. They're like, oh, well, look at this photo and you're fucking 13, fatty. Okay. Yeah, dude. I'd never hid this. You know, I didn't find this on your own. I posted this shit. What is this? Well, he's a pussy, so we wouldn't ask her any hard questions or say any of that slick shit to her face. So it would be pretty boring, actually. Wait, that's so funny. Okay, nice. Yeah, no, I would never ask any hard questions. I'm a pussy. It is incredibly problematic of Julian Casablancas to have been pedophiles as a young boy. Like, that is such a crazy thing that San Francisco just put out. And it's so did that. And everyone understood exactly why San Francisco Chronicle chose to report on Julian Casablancas being at an Epstein party in where he would be 13 fucking years old. Okay? 13 years old. He'd be a victim, not accomplice. Unbelievable that they thought that this would be great. Like, this would be a real banger. I said, at this point, it's Julian Casablancas dares to criticize America, Israel, and Zionists in the Western world. And now you got a major newspaper implying he's an Epstein affiliate. Well, he was a child in 1991, so at most, he's an Epstein victim. This is what we're doing? A resurfaced 1991 photo shows a young Julian Casablancas at a Trump-linked event, drawing attention as the Strokes frontman faces backlash over recent political remarks. This is funny. Why was Julian Casablancas enabling a pedophile like this by being a 13-year-old boy in his vicinity? Have you thought about that? Yeah, Adam Johnson also said, feel like not enough people are pausing to appreciate just how true this is. Casablancas criticized Israel, then the San Francisco Chronicle rushed to publish an article about a 13-year-old Casablancas attending a Trump-linked event at 13 years old. Linked event. Bears repeating that the target of these deranged intimidation campaigns, whether Claudine Gay's plagiarism or Rama Dawaji's art freelancing, are not the subjects as much as the generalized menace for others to just shut the fuck up and go about their business. A staple of the genre is always all smoke and no fire. Linked. Backlash. From who? Remove moral content of political remarks, guilt by association, then guilt by association, and if need, If associate with the is exactly what's been going on for the past month or so with me. They don't like what I'm saying, so they try to create some kind of tremendous controversy. But what they don't realize is that this kind of shit doesn't work because I'm not a traditional media anchor. I'm not on a corporate sponsored mainstream media outlet where I could be fired, where advertisers could pull their dollars. I entirely donor funded, okay? And not even donor, but like subscriber funded. So none of this works. None of it works. The reality is, yes, donor funded. Donor. Yeah, this is a grassroots funded. They're trying to ban from platforms, I think. It's not. I don't want to do hubris here, okay? I want to restream. How can I? You can rewind the stream by subscribing to the Piker Broadcasting Service, the People's Broadcasting Service, Piker Broadcasting Service, sponsored by you, the people, for you, the people. Your voluntary subscriptions in the form of a Prime, which is free, or a $6 a month subscription allow you to actually rewind the if you are watching from a PC. And many other amenities, such as emotes that you can use all around the platform. And the opportunity to be able to send me links with no guarantee that I will click on said links, especially if they're dog shit. They're trying to scare people away from even attempting to listen to you. Yeah, but for every person that's just like, yeah, this guy fucking sucks, I guess, who cares? There are going to be plenty of people who go, let me check this guy out for myself. So it ends up, because the statements are not true, right? Because the accusations are, and because my enemies are unbelievably evil, like openly fucking evil, like Mark Levin, because so many of my are openly pro-Israel, sometimes even Israel first, so repulsive in other meaningful ways, that eventually, in a long enough timeline, people start recognizing that all the fucking shit talk is coming from places is coming from places where it's this shit. We have already experienced this in this community for years and years with virtually every sex pest, pedophile, and ultra-Zionist on the internet coming after me with the exact same lines of attack that now Mark Levin is using. Right? And at first, maybe a lot of the fucking slop consumers, the drama enjoyers, watched all of these supposedly apolitical centrist content creators and like VTubers that are lolicon enjoyers and things like that. Perhaps they watched that stuff and thought, yeah, no, this guy fucking sucks. This song guy probably sucks, right? But then every single one of those people slowly but surely revealed their hand. They revealed their hand and they showed the world who they truly were. So at that point, you got to make a new calculation. Perhaps these guys were fucking bullshitting. Maybe there's some residual resentment from all the things that you've seen, all the discourse cycles that have taken place over and over again. But I always believe that eventually there's going to be a turning point because it's just simply not true. It's just not true. If you think I'm like running around advocating to murder every fucking CEO or do as much theft as possible, it's just not true. You're not going to get that. If you come in here and you look for that, you're not going to find that. You're going to realize that perhaps I have many reasonable points. You might not immediately agree with it. It's an alternative way of viewing society, an alternative trajectory that we could have for a much better American future, a much better future around the globe for every single person, working class individuals all around the world. But even if we don't agree on the methods, at the end of the day, that is my goal. That is what I want. I want what's best for others. That's it. And I've never shied away from revealing my perspective, right? Atlantic did another one. Something is happening with America's moral code. Oh my fucking Lord, again.
He receives a payment or swipes his credit card or interacts with his accountant. He's mindlessly assuming that the rules about which he is so painfully glib would hold fast. If, as he insisted twice, it is acceptable to steal from Whole Foods, then there's no good reason that it is unacceptable to steal from Hassan Piker. And I would add, There's no good reason to do whatever you want with Hassan Piker. I don't urge it. I certainly don't recommend it.
I don't urge it, but you should do something about this guy. Okay, Mark, you fucking pussy. Literally out there being like, yeah, you should fucking deal with this guy. You should do something about this guy.
Respect. But that's what this comes down to if Piker wins the day. Why should our liberties apply to him when if he had his way, he would destroy them? I'll be right back.
I like that he goes in the commercial break after issuing a not so subtle death threat against an American citizen. All right, man.
As the standoff.
All right, buddy. Bro, the elites are so far up your ass. They're clipping 3K viewed YouTube vids. You control the narrative topic. You got them by their balls. Yeah, I mean, he gets more angry after. More angry than demanding someone do something about me. Issuing a Republican fatwa. Doesn't this get you mad? No, dude, it doesn't. You want to know why it doesn't get me mad? Because I'm so fucking used to it. Maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe this is a very toxic version of politics that we should not have been used to at all. We should have never gotten used to it at all. Here's another actually article about you, and it's hilarious. Hassan Piker and Gia Tolentino, the leftists who think stealing is great. Actually, shoplifting is bad. I don't even... God. They have no argument. They have no argument at all, which is why they have to do this, right? The argument is, yes, theft is bad. That's why we're talking about systemic looting that takes place, that fucks over the working class on a daily basis. That's the whole point. But it's funny that they're just like, oh, dude, you're pro-crime. You're pro-theft. You're pro-murder. I feel bad for Gia Tolentino, who just got caught in the fucking crossfire here, probably in ways that she did not foresee. She probably did not I told them, I warned them ahead of time, too. I was like, listen, I'm going to be honest, like, there's probably going to be a lot of backlash. And we didn't even talk about anything all that controversial, but whatever I engage with, it turns into madness in the discourse cycle, and yeah, the block is hot. Yeah. Anyway, you became a low-budget dreyfus affair. The biggest transfer of wealth in history from working people to billionaire hoarders is only accelerating as American systems disintegrate and decline. But yes, please keep obsessively focusing on the Twitch streamer sharing a Netflix password. This is the key to winning elections. Yeah. Harvuka, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Who do you think they perceive more as a threat, you or Carlson? Fuck not. It's not Carlson at all. What are you, crazy? This is when he starts getting angry. If you want to see, he starts going over your whole life.
So he trashes our founding. He trashes our history, trashes our economic system, but he's a leech. He's a leech. He feeds off all of it. The only reason he has free speech is because of our Constitution. The only reason he's wealthy is because of capitalism. The only reason he has a platform, again, is because of our free speech. I've told you many times that the hard left, the Marxists, the Islamists, and so forth, they use our Constitution to destroy our Constitution. They use our liberty to destroy our liberty. Now, I never heard of this guy before until about a month ago. I'll bet most of you haven't either. He's a cancer in the body politic. He's metastasizing. Born July 25, 1991, but he knows everything. Everything.
Why is he talking about my day of birth? Could you please respond? Why do you hate our freedoms? I don't. Obviously, I don't. I'm using them, right? I'm using the freedoms to do what advocacy that I don't like. How dare he believe things that I don't believe? How dare he? Yeah, I'm using the Constitution to destroy the right-wing forces in American politics. We can't have that.
It says here that, let's see, in New Brunswick, New Jersey, to Turkish parents. He grew up in Istanbul, was raised as a Muslim. His father's family immigrated from Crete, Greece, to Turkey. His father, Mehmet, Beckel Piker is a political scientist and economist.
Beckel Piker. He's just like, Bechet. Okay. He has no idea how to say that. That's funny. Bro said my dad's middle name, bro. I haven't said my dad's middle name in like a decade. That's crazy. Or tried to say my dad's middle name.
His mother, Euchre Sedef Piker, is an art and architectural historian teaching at New Jersey Institute of Technology. How many times have I also told you that the worst of the communists and so many of the Islamists come out of these colleges and universities or out of these
no
educational
more education. Who needs to learn about architectural art history?
Institutions. They don't come out of the streets. His uncle's this guy Cenk Unger or Uyghur, that fat Slav, also from Turkey, founder of the Young Turks. And Piker returned to the United States, attended the University of Miami, then transferred to Rutgers, where he joined the Theta Delta Chi fraternity. Graduated in 2013 from Rutgers in political science and communication studies. He moved to L.A. 2021. He bought a $2.7 million home, 3,800 square feet, in West Hollywood. But, of course, he's a Marxist. Most of his streams have been filmed in his house. During his senior year of college in 2013, he interned for the Young Turks, filled with hate, Jew hate, America hate, Christian hate. The network ad sales and business department hired him after he graduated, so he worked for a while for his uncle.
This guy knows more about you than I do, and I've been watching you daily for almost 5 years. I think Levin is in love with you. It's crazy. Why does he know so much? I hate this guy. What the fuck? Mossad giving him the talking points? Nah, he probably just went on the Wikipedia page. I think this is just straight up from the Wikipedia page. Pretty sure he's reading the National Review article that was put out on you. Literally just the article that went over your wiki with your controversies mixed in.
Became a host and later producer for the show. He created his own video series in 2016, and then he's off to the races. He added content to the Huffington Post from 2016 to 2018. Started streaming on Twitch. A Twitch streamer. And so he's a disgusting, foul, America-hating, Jew-hating, Christian-hating.
He's just reading my Wikipedia page and then going, I hate this. Disgusting. He's an America hater. While sounding like the Master Shake from Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Hating, Mao loving, Hamas loving, 9/11 loving, piece of garbage. And he wouldn't get away with this in any of the countries he loves, I can tell you that. Not any communist regime or Islamist regime. He would have already...
Wait. Isn't that completely false? Like, if I thought all of those other countries hate America and love Mao and love Islamism. Wouldn't that actually go super hard in places like Iran? If I lived in Iran, they would celebrate me, no? Or China? Wouldn't they? Pretty sure if I was a Mao-loving, Hamas-loving, disgusting America hater, I could just like live in China and they'd be perfectly fine with that kind of politics, no?
Taking a dive off of a high roof. In other words, pushed. And the Democrats embrace him.
I like that he's like taking a dive off a high roof. In other words, pushed. Thank you for clarifying that I would be defenestrated in a different regime, which is ironic because that's what you want to happen to me in this one. In this supposed cherished First Amendment loving Constitution loving broadcast on the Mark Levin show, you are literally demanding that happen to me, which is very funny. You also love it when Israel does that. It's just, he's basically demanding that happen here.
They embrace him.
Dude, I want pictures of Hasanabi, that web crawling menace. I do have a tendency to turn everybody into J. Jonah Jameson. I don't know what it is. They're like, I hate the Spider-Man. It's like that meme of the guy going like this at the Mr. Burns' second in command Simpsons meme. He's like this, and I'm just shaking my booty in front of him. No! They're cooking his ass for speaking on you. Hassan Piker represents everything that is evil. Listen, for a free. Oh, it's Smithers. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Mr. Smithers. This is just 2019 Alex Jones all over again, mispronouncing your name, bringing up TYT, getting an aneurysm. Yeah, Alex Jones in many respects was ahead of the game. He was ahead of the curve. He was ahead of the curve back then, all the way back in 2019 where he clocked this shit. And I will caller at 139 calling you the enemy. You can clearly tell this guy has no idea who you are. 139. Oh, so he like took on callers from his community to be like, we should kill this guy.
I just got to pull up the call screen here. Sirius XM Satellite, how are you?
Mark, I'm doing well. Always a pleasure to speak to you, sir.
Thank you, brother.
This Hassan Piker is evil. He is the enemy. And if this is not a clear case as to why this birthright citizenship is completely wrong.
Bro, you can't be talking about birthright citizenship with that accent, motherfucker. You can't do that. What are you doing? What are you doing? That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. He said, yes, Mark, we have to do something about these fucking birthright citizens. What do you mean, bro? What do you mean? What are you doing? Do you have no self-awareness? What the fuck? Mark, we have to do something. Average ICE agent. Oh my God. Ay, 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 por Dios, yo voy a votar por Donald Trump. Ay, ay, ay.
And it makes no sense for us to survive as a country. But I also wanted to get your take, Mark, on dual citizenship. I think.
Oh, wait. Why do you care about dual citizenship?
That's a problem as well. Bernie Moreno, senator from Ohio, he was crafting some legislation to try to get rid of dual citizenship because I believe that you need to have full allegiance to the United States. You cannot have.
Yeah, why? What would Mark have to say about dual citizenship? Maybe no more dual citizenship for Israel, for example. Would that be on board? Would Mark be on board with no dual citizenship to Israel? Let's hear. Let's see what he has to say.
Allegiance among.
Lose the accent, hermano. No, this is what's so funny about like so many motherfuckers who are like who are Republican, but actually come from backgrounds that Republicans want to forcibly excise from the American state boundaries. It's just like unbelievable. People think, oh, as long as I LARP as a white supremacist, like is fine. I will be fine. I will be spared. You will not be spared, motherfucker. This is why I don't understand, like, the juxtaposition, the inherent contradiction of Nicolas Fuentes. Nicolas Fuentes being Mexican, a Mexican white supremacist. How is that possible? That's the beauty of America in some ways. Okay? That's what it is. Nicolas Fuentes is the most prominent white supremacist in the country, and he's a gay Mexican manlet. Is crazy.
Countries. So I think that's a big problem as well. I would love to get your take on that.
Well, obviously, I know a lot of people who are citizens of the United States and Israel. I know a lot of people who are citizens of the United States and Canada. I know a lot of people are citizens of the United States and Britain. And to me, as long as you're loyal to the United States, I really don't have a problem.
Wait a minute. Flag on the play. Flag on the play. So you don't want the dual citizenship restrictions because I know a lot of white guys. And more importantly than he said Israel first. I didn't say it. He said Israel first before he said Canada, before he said England, before he said the UK. What happened? Mark, what happened? What happened to no dual citizenship, Mark? Folded like a lawn chair. All right, I'm done. This is funny. There is like a million articles like this. They're all over the timeline. People are going fucking crazy over it. I am the biggest villain in American society right now. But just remember, it's because of moments like this that these motherfuckers consider me the biggest villain. I do want to watch or read the Vox article. That one is always funny. I always do appreciate like when liberals get mad and they try to now they're trying to make it seem like the issue is not Israel, but it is still Israel, obviously. So we'll do that. But remember, this is the real problem. Okay, this.
If you steal from the poor, you become rich. If you steal from the wealthy, you go to prison. So there's only one direction where you can do unlimited theft and erode the social contract for the 99%. There's an invisibility baked into the system that allows the wealthy to engage in this sort of behavior. Because I mean, it's a cliche at this point, but like wage theft is the most consequential amount of theft that takes place in the United States of America.
That's it. I feel like this podcast was a trap. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah, new attack line is San Francisco, do not replace Nancy Pelosi with a guy who campaigns with a bigot. And yeah, head in the offices, agreed. Don't vote for Scott Wiener. I love that. The beard was his own character here. Sometimes I'm shocked in the stuff they choose to clip. Like, do they think that's going to be an unpopular take? Every Israeli should have birthright U.S. citizenship. Okay. Ben Shapiro did the radical left's hostile takeover is here. Karl Marx, me, and then Zohran Kwame Mamdani. Kind of a banger, a bit of a banger a thumbnail, even though it's AI, obviously. But hilarious background overall. Again, these guys are so fucking mad. It's a weird, gross allegiance with some of the most like vicious, vile, repulsive elements in American politics. Jim Garrity, Hassan Piker's father, Mehmet Beşiktaş, spent 24 years working at Sabancı Holding, rising to the board of directors at a position of vice president. Do these guys think that like politics is passed down from generation to generation? I don't understand it. Like, what is... Like, do they think that like me and my dad are supposed to agree on everything politically? We don't. Yeah. We don't. We don't agree. Yeah, I have a father, and I take care of him financially now, which is ironic because, you know, he's Mr. Neoliberal, but that's besides the point, right? I'm very fortunate. I'm a very fortunate guy. I'm honored to be able to take care of my father. But yeah, we don't agree. We don't agree on politics. This is a very normal thing. Piker disputes the notion that he grew up wealthy and privileged. In November, Piker claimed that his father went broke by the time he got to college and was broke for the first decade after college. Apparently, it was the kind of broke that he could afford an Equinox gym membership in 2013, which cost $133 to $142 a month with a separate $175 initiation fee. Piker literally means broke as a synonym for not earning as much money as I would like. Dog, I literally did not have a vehicle in Los Angeles. I did not have an established place of residence in Los Angeles. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, do you think I was LARPing when I was living in the fucking kitchen of a frat house? Do you think I was LARPing when I had 3 fucking roommates that I live with? You think I was doing that as a LARP? Like, I don't understand. What the fuck? That's hilarious. It is fucking hilarious that these guys are like, nah, he's faking it, dude. No, I was faking it. My tax returns were also faking it. I was LARPing being fucking broke. Not that it even matters, ironically enough. Not that it matters. Even if I was unbelievably and unfathomably rich, that doesn't actually change the fucking argument. You can't address the argument, so you're trying to you can't tackle the message, so you're trying to tackle the messenger. But it is funny that they're just like, nah, dude, he was rich. Okay, I wasn't, but let's say I was. Who gives a fuck? I am now, right? Who gives a fuck? There is no way to fucking tackle the merits. So they just hit like the messenger to lean into pre-existing idiotic fucking notions every time. Every fucking time. They're like, nah, dude, this is hypocritical. No, it's not hypocritical. You just worry. You worry that there are people like me out there. Okay? You worry that there could be more people that recognize right from wrong, that understand that the situation is untenable, that there is a better future out there. There's a better mode of existing out there that is more egalitarian and better for overall society, where we don't actually starve out the unlimited potential of people simply because they were born in the wrong zip code, simply because they were born behind on the wrong side of a border, right? That's it. It's also extra funny that they bring up Frederick Engels, which I brought up, describing the concept of social murder. Engels owned a factory, right? Like, he was literally one of the godfathers of communism, right? And he owned a fucking factory. So they were able to hit both sides. Hypocritical rich communist and also broke boy that was eating off of his relationship with a hypocritical rich communist. Marx and Engels, both. Frederick Engels, literally OG, commie sugar daddy. It doesn't work. Why do they keep trying to conflate your father's net worth with the net worth of the holding company that he worked for? It's such a shit attempt to label you as some kind of billionaire nepo baby that does not hold up under inspection. A lot of people are stupid. A lot of people are unbelievably stupid. And there's also AI articles that make that conflation as well. So there's like plenty of bad information out there for those who don't want to scratch the surface of any of this stuff, right? So that's what it is. They're just like, see, his father worked for a company that had billions of dollars in a holding group, in a conglomerate. And it's like, okay, how the fuck does that translate to my life? Like, I don't understand. I've talked about my privileged and affluent beginnings over and over again. That's the reason why there are photos of me on a fucking horse, on my horse, mind you, as a child. How the fuck do you think this photo came out? You think you found it on your own? You did some investigative reporting? No, I posted it. I've talked about it. Hasanabi, as they're calling it. They try to do this with Zohran too, calling him a Hollywood nepo baby. I know. It's when you got no argument left, that's what you do. Anyway, where is the fucking Atlantic article? This is the last thing I'm going to read before we move on to situation monitoring. We'll be talking about the Gulf, the Strait of Hormuz, what's going on. Yeah, they're doing you like Julian. I saw in America, if you criticize Zionism, they will smear you with photos from when you were 13. They're doing it to me too. Michael Rappaport is doing it. Michael Rappaport is doing this to me. One day after San Francisco Chronicle did this to Julian Casablancas, it's the same shit. It's always communists who tell me that because we disagree, I'm unworthy of existence. Wait, what the fuck happened? Did I just lose the... because we disagree, I'm unworthy of existence. I think it's because communism as an ideology is murderous at its very core. No, it's because you step on rakes on social media out of ignorance and low intelligence, and then you act indignant about your sideshow Bob act. And by the way, you did twist his words. If you had the decency, you'd apologize. You just instead feel sorry for yourself. Hassan isn't the one who hand waves away millions of deaths in the richest country in the world due to ration death. And that was you. And then you act like a victim because people are angry that you've done this because they use strong language. How about you grow up, Kelsey Tuak, Kelsey Piper? Yeah, she didn't say they were rationing death. She said suboptimal policy and business decisions. Anyway, yeah, Eric Levitz wrote about me, said, Hassan Piker is exceptionally good at ranting about politics while playing video games. Okay, lie, but that's fine. Right off the gates. Chatters, you hear this shit? They're calling me a fucking gamer. This is supposed to be a newspaper, okay? Folks, they're not doing their due diligence. Or maybe It's true. I do play video games. Anyway, in the late 20th century, this would have made him a fun, if exhausting, hang. In today's era, it has rendered him one of the most influential left-wing commentators in America. Do you notice the fucking the hatred that is pouring out of every orifice? Like, these guys at the end of the day are just mad. They're like, why do people pay attention to him? He's fucking, he's not a serious person. The disdain, the vitriol, the envy. It's always, first of all, Vox.com is new media, right? Vox.com is itself new media. And I have a lot of love for some of the people that work there. You know, Estad Herndon. Love the guy. You guys know this. Every outlet that writes about this stuff, I have people that work there that I'm friends with, that I've worked with in the past when they worked at other news media outlets, right? Other publications. It doesn't matter. But for Vox.com to be this mad, to experience this level of like disdain for what I do is really strange, because Vox itself is not a legacy publisher. It's been purchased, right? I think it was purchased by the New York Times at some point. It was like merged into it or something, but maybe it's separate again. But like, it's funny that Vox of all outlets is writing like this. Anyway, an increasingly popular surrogate for progressive candidates and a flashpoint of Democratic Party's internal debates about Israel and platforming. For the last month, some moderate Democrats have called on their party to shun Piker in light of his anti-Semitic, in air quotes, and hateful, in air quotes, remarks. Among them, Americans deserve 9/11, that Hamas is 1,000 times better than Israel, and that ultra-Orthodox Jews are inbred. That's not what I said, but it doesn't even fucking matter. Whatever, sure. This ostracism campaign has gained little traction. In recent weeks, the center-left columnist Ezra Klein defended Piker against charges of anti-Semitism, while the flagship podcast of Resistance Liberalism, Pod Save America, had the streamer on a show. And even resolutely pro-Israel Democratic politicians such as Rahm Emanuel and Gavin Newsom have suggested they would appear on Piker's live stream. From a political perspective, that makes sense. Piker's audience is formidable and comprised of people who share at least some of the Democratic Party's basic goals. Some. No, the problem is we actually do maintain a real interest in what the Democratic Party wants to present itself as. The major issue here is that Democrats claim they want these things, but they don't actually act on it because they are beholden to their corporate benefactors. Okay? That's the problem. The Democrats love talking about how they want to make healthcare more affordable, if not free, even though they don't say the second part usually, right? They want to implement policies that make it so that housing is cheaper. But they don't. They say, or used to say, that they were anti-war. They don't anymore, but they used to say it at least. Same with being pro-immigration, pro-immigrant. They used to say that. They don't necessarily anymore. The problem is we want to hold them to account. We actually want them to follow through on the promises. That's the issue. That's the real fucking issue. The moral panic over Hassan Piker's involvement with the Democratic Party is really about Palestine's growing influence in U.S. politics. While Israel supporters might want to ban him and Palestine from the discourse, they've already lost the fight. Yep, it's true. Always one vote short. From a political perspective, that makes sense. Piker's audience is formidable. But the merits of the streamer's own politics are another question. And that doesn't merely concern the legitimacy of anti-Zionism as much as commentary suggested. Piker may be worthy of engagement, but his worldview does not deserve any enlightened person's admiration. Many on the left beg to differ. Prominent progressive candidates have touted him as a surrogate, and socialist commentators have extolled him as a valiant critic of Israel's oppression of the Palestinian people and of U.S. warmongering and of a democratic establishment that supports both. In their account, it is Piker's uncompromising commitment to egalitarian principles, not his unfortunate and retracted comments about Orthodox Jews and 9/11. Now he's basically saying Orthodox Jews did 9/11 is my suggestion. I don't know. Very weird implication here. That have earned him centrist ire. This narrative is a kernel of truth. Many centrist Democrats have excused Israel's subjugation of Palestinians in the West Bank and its mass murder of civilians in Gaza, but Piker is prone to similar moral errors. Really? On topics as varied as Chinese communism, Russian imperialism, and Islamist terrorism, Piker's commentary is often just as ethically rudderless as what it claims to oppose. Washington's jingoist downplay or rationalize the crimes of America and Israel, Piker does much of the same for the nation's adversaries. The best word for Piker's ideology may be campism, a strain of leftism that judges foreign movements and regimes more by their degree of hostility towards the West than by their adherence to progressive values. Such tribalism is poisonous, whether it surfaces on the left, right, or center. Chairman Mao was bad, actually. Campism is a bit like disco. It made more sense in the 70s. During the Cold War, much of the world was divided between the American and Soviet blocs, or in the socialist jargon of the day, the world's first and second camps. In that context, some Western leftists felt it was more important to propagandize for the communist bloc than to criticize myriad crimes. Bro is bringing back McCarthyism, dude. How is this fucking possible? Dog, you write, Eric Levitz, you write for Vox. Why are you talking like a Mormon FBI agent in 1968? How is this possible? These motherfuckers literally just went back and said, hey, remember the fucking insanely anti-Semitic, anti-communist fucking weirdos in American politics? We should do that again in 2026 when material conditions are dog shit for the average American and there is no real ideological bloc-aligned opposition to America. America is uncontested around the fucking world. And we have seen its bountiful product. And most people hate it, even if they don't have the political language or the education to understand why they fucking hate it. They experience it. And they go, this sucks. The fuck do you mean campus? He talked about you at his town hall?
Just by a show of hands, have folks in this room heard of Hassan Piker? It's been in the news quite a bit lately. Our campaign a month ago, I actually flew out to Los Angeles and I joined Hassan on his stream. And in 1.5 hours, we raised $65,000 for our campaign, entirely grassroots. So we know that the money is there. It's the same small dollar fundraising engine that powered Bernie Sanders' presidential campaigns, that has Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez as the very top fundraiser in the House of Representatives with no corporate PAC money. There are people all across the country, as well as here in South Florida, who want to see this kind of progressive leadership and this accountability to the working class and to the American people.
After the Soviet Union's fall, the rationale for campism fell apart, yet the desires that fueled it to see the global conflict in Manichaean terms, to demonstrate one's superlative contempt for American imperialism, and to identify with the West's geopolitical adversaries lingered on. On the fringes of the Western left, some continued to comport themselves as apologists for anti-imperialist bloc of foreign actors that had little in common with each other or American socialists beyond their hostility to the United States. These guys literally don't understand. I don't want emancipation for the Palestinians because it's anchored by a socialist desire. I want emancipation for the Palestinians because they're fucking human beings. They literally cannot comprehend caring about other human beings, even if we don't align ideologically with them. It's the same exact motivating principle for why I want healthcare for all, regardless. And I say for all, and I mean for all. Like, I mean American Nazis also should be getting fucking free healthcare, okay? It's unbelievable where they're like, no, every single allegiance has to be transactional. It's not the case. I don't give a fuck. I don't fucking care if people have a different perspective on the world when they're born in Gaza into a fucking open air prison. What the fuck do you mean? This is so weird. It's weird that people are this selfish and they openly demonstrate how selfish they are. That's why it always, that's why it was never a banger when people were like, LGBT for Palestine, they would kill you in Palestine. It's like, dude, what the fuck do you mean? What do you mean? They still deserve emancipation. They deserve to live lives of dignity. Like, these are human beings you're talking about. Who gives a fuck? Although Piker identifies as a Marxist, not a campus, his thought is shaped by the latter tradition. This is easiest to see his commentary on China. The streamer is a great admirer of the Chinese Communist Party, both past and present. In one broadcast, Piker vowed that he would never make fun of Mao Zedong, which, by the way, fucking jokingly saying that, Jesus Christ. Since the CCP founder was one of the greatest leaders of this world, a man who changed the entire universe, this is also true. Okay, this part is true. After receiving some pushback on his stance from viewers, Piker conceded there was a lot of fucking excesses, let's be real, but the People's Republic of China would not exist without Mao Zedong. Yeah. Oh, so you mean I have a nuanced perspective on this? I like that nuanced perspective on something like this is still couched as like, oh, his own fans owned him. What a fucking sinister, what a cynical fucking way to frame the commentary. Suffice to say, it is difficult to reconcile Piker's moral horror at Israel's human rights abuses with his cavalier attitude towards Mao. With the Great Leap Forward, a campaign to rapidly industrialize China through forced collectivization, Mao orchestrated the deaths of up to 45 million people, mostly from famine. Here's the fucking problem here, okay? You're not supposed to compare collectivization efforts in a peasant society to 2026 modernity, mechanized death and destruction at the behest of extracting more land mass from an indigenous population. You're supposed to look at that within the framework of collectivization, or not collectivization, but modern industrialization in the Western world. You know how we did that? With 400 years of chattel fucking slavery. Do you know the death toll for that? They always want to compare things to shit that doesn't fit the bill. Okay? Oh, all deaths are the same. What do you mean? Okay, it's like whenever people say like, oh, communism has led to famine, which killed, tens of millions of people. Yeah, that's horrifying. It's horrible. Guess what? There's famine right now in a world where we have an abundance of food, where food distribution is simply a matter of profit, okay? The reason why there are still 14 million people that die under a global system of capitalism, the reason why that happens, even though technological advancements and agricultural production advances have created a system where famine could be eradicated around the globe, and yet still 14 million people die a year due to famine-related diseases. Why is that the case? That is never attributed to capitalism. That is never attributed to the system itself. They point to the failures within the collectivization initiatives in the USSR, in fucking Mao Zedong's China, the Great Leap Forward, things that I don't even consider to be defensible, things that even the fucking Chinese government doesn't consider to be defensible, right? And they point to that without looking at the adequate comparison in the Western world. The Western world was able to develop off of blood and soil, the rape of Africa, 400 years of chattel fucking slavery. That is how the West was able to develop, on the backs of other people's labor. That is the adequate comparison. Okay? But they don't want to make that adequate comparison. They want to compare this to what Israel is doing now. Israel is a modern country in a post-industrial revolution world, a country that's not comprised of the landed gentry and peasants and slaves revolting against landed gentry, a country that already has industrialized, a country that exists as a welfare state, let's be real, one that sucks up as much productive output and as many tax dollars as it possibly can from the Western world, with weapons from the Western world that has a singular focus of dominating the Palestinian lives, subjugating them, killing them, making their lives uninhabitable so they get the fuck out of this land that they want to have, because they have an ethno-religious supremacist ideology anchoring their society, a fascist ideology. These two things are not comparable. It's perhaps best compared to Nazi Germany and the Holocaust. But of course, that's a comparison that no one wants to make. How dare you make that comparison? That is a similar comparison to one another. But when you make that comparison, they call you a fucking anti-Semite. They say, how dare you say that? It's ridiculous. Yeah. You die from famine under communist collectivization initiatives. That is the fault of communism. That's a direct death that was forced upon the people. You die from famine under a global system of capitalism, 14 million a year. That is your fault. You didn't bootstrap it. You didn't pick yourself up by your bootstraps. It was a moral failing that you were born to a country that unfortunately was on the receiving end of Western brutality, Western imperialism, that was too poor to set up its own agricultural production, that was purposely kept behind, that was overexploited. This is the dogmatic thought that is required in hegemonic capitalist, the current capitalist hegemony, okay? It is dogmatic. You have to look at the situation and go, capitalism is born out of meritocracy. It's the natural system of order, okay? I say it's unnatural. Why can't we have a normal conversation about that? Why can't we have a conversation on the merits? Why can't we have a conversation around the facts? His commentary on Israel, Piker has suggested that foreign actors should be judged, at least in part, on the basis of how many civilians they kill. Thus, Israel, since Israel's killed far more Palestinians than Hamas has killed Israelis, Hamas is 1,000 times better than Israel. I think this is pretty flawed reasoning. But here, I would just note that Piker's stance is wholly incompatible with his reverence for Mao. Israel's killed more than 70,000 people in Gaza since October 7, or about 0.15% as many as Mao has killed. The Great Leap Forward. Oh my God. And that's not counting the 1.2 to 1.7 million people he killed with the Cultural Revolution. If Piker truly judged regimes by the scale of death and suffering they caused, he could not possibly venerate Mao's. I venerate America as well, the American Revolution as well. Okay? Would you turn around and say, Hasan Piker loves free speech, the American Constitution, due process? He lives in the United States of America, a system designed by slave owners who fucking did indigenous genocide, who propped up slavery, chattel slavery, for decades after the rest of the world had decided maybe it's a bridge too fucking far. Do you ever test that standard in the same way? No, you don't. You can have a nuanced understanding of development everywhere around the world. When people meet someone who is consistent on this stuff, they lose their fucking minds. The accurate comparison would be between the CCP's practice of dragnets, mass surveillance, and internment of Uyghur Muslims, Uyghur separatists in Xinjiang, to what Israel has done to the Palestinians. That's an adequate comparison. It's just not one that benefits the Western world. That is the reason why they never talk about it. I do. I have criticized the Chinese government's handling of Uyghur Muslims in Xinjiang. And yet, what do I always say? If Israel treated the Palestinians in the same way that the CCP treated Xinjiang separatists, Israel would be held up as a beacon of light, the moral standard that the Western world should choose to abide by. How many fucking city blocks did Xi Jinping blow up with bombs? That is a better comparison, one that no one in the Western media will ever make. How many fucking toddlers did the CCP snipe deliberately? How many toddlers did the People's Liberation Army snipe in Xinjiang? How many city blocks blown up with eight atomic bombs worth of munitions deployed that we paid for, that American tax dollars paid for? Role reversal. If the Chinese government currently did anything close to what Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli government, has done for 80 fucking years, with its culmination being the Gaza genocide, if they had done that in the last couple of decades, we would have fucking nuked the Three Gorges Dam by now. It's unfucking believable. Asked whether there was any country that had done socialism the way that you like. Oh, during a live stream visit, Piker was harassed by Chinese police for filming in Tiananmen Square, the site where the regime massacred pro-democracy protesters in 1989, an event that still seeks to banish from public memory. The experience only reaffirmed his belief that China's security services are far less repressive than their counterparts in America, Europe, or Japan. I said, I've dealt with cops all around the world, okay? That minor instance was nothing in comparison to what my fucking police in my locality have done to me with my tax dollars. I pay for their fucking salaries. I pay for their chemical weapons that they use on me and others like me, my neighbors. That was what I fucking said. Because it's true. Asked whether there was any country that had done socialism the way that you like on the Trigonometry podcast, Piker said that China was the closest. This was a curious choice. Piker and his fellow American socialists typically advocate for large welfare states, powerful trade unions, and an egalitarian distribution of income and progressive social policies. Yet on each of these fronts, Scandinavian social democracies such as Sweden, Norway, and Denmark display far greater adherence to socialist ideals than China does. That's insane. Okay, this is, again, your ignorance. But not only that, but also, I don't have a fucking issue with Nordic democracies, Nordic social democracies. That's great. We should move in that direction. In fact, China maintains exceptionally small welfare state. Oh my God, welfare state is not socialism, dude. What the fuck? Oh, yeah, Vox News, but with an F. It's Fox News. By contrast, that figure is 19.8% in the United States and 26.1% in Sweden. The average amount of all OECD countries is 21.2%. Notably, this isn't merely because China is at an earlier stage of development. Rather, its threadbare safety net also reflects the ideology of its leadership. This is true. Xi Jinping despises the welfare state. Okay, it's true. I think this is a shortcoming. When I said I think the Chinese system is something that we could potentially emulate, I'm talking about controlling the flows of capital. I'm talking about moving society in a different vision, one that actually benefits every single American, one that benefits everyone around the world. I'm talking about a lack of interest in destabilizing countries overseas, a lack of interest in direct military interventions, and instead an interest in focusing on personal development inside of the United States of America. These are things that we can learn from the Chinese system. These are things that many Americans would agree to if you didn't say it was Chinese. Okay? You show Americans a alternative vision where we could just, instead of spending unlimited billions of dollars blowing up fucking brown countries, black countries, and instead spending all of that wealth to develop high-speed rail in the United States of America, they're gonna be like, hell yeah, I want that. An alternative mode of transportation. That would be great. We can't have that though, because the airline lobby would never allow that to happen. Meanwhile, China's labor policies are exponentially more repressive than America's, let alone Scandinavia's, and independent trade unions are outlawed. Nor is the Chinese economy especially egalitarian in other respects. Chinese level of income inequality is 24% higher than Sweden's. Finally, China does not allow LGBT people to marry or adopt children, whereas the United States and Nordic social democracies and most Western countries do. There's never been a moment where I've actually said, oh, the Chinese social policies are ones that we need to fucking apply here. That's not what I'm saying. It's so interesting. Even an authoritarian socialist, one who believes that economic equality and social liberalism are more important than electoral democracy, should have little fondness for China's social model. Okay? That his policies are hostile towards LGBT people. No, man. Once again, it's always, these guys can only argue by completely taking away nuance from this conversation. If someone says, hey, aren't they jailing LGBT people in China? I'm going to be like, no, that's not the case. There are entire cities designed around queer culture, like Chengdu, that we went to, like Chongqing even. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to make such a silly statement when, it's not. It's something that I have observed. I went there with a gay dude, right? I went there with my podcast co-host and close friend, best friend, Austin Show. We went to gay bars. What do you want me to fucking say? Yeah, we went to Gay City and they beat your ass for not twerking. But he also contends that the point of government is to improve the material conditions of all people. Therefore, the CCP's success in reducing extreme poverty makes its system preeminent. This is not persuasive. China's economic development over the past 3 decades is doubtlessly impressive, although those gains follow the country's embrace of market reforms and integration into global capitalism. Okay, you know what this argument entirely revolves around? Okay. Hey, China is communist, and yet they've eradicated so much extreme poverty. And then someone goes, no, China is capitalist. So you go, okay, let's try Chinese capitalism. And they go, no, no, no. At no point is social repression a part of the economic development of the people. I am talking about policies such as centralized command over the economy. I'm talking about policies such as controlling the flows of capital in order to dictate which industries we must focus on in terms of development. In times of necessity, if what is necessary is the development of a real estate industry, you move the flows of capital in that direction. That's what I'm talking about. It has nothing to do with like fucking, mass surveillance initiatives, which we have plenty of here as well. As a matter of fact, I'm very critical of that. It's the same as like Norway. We go, okay, let's do Norway. They go, fuck no, that's communism. And yet the poor nonetheless enjoy much higher living standards in the United States, Sweden, and other Western democracies than they do in China. And Western democracies have achieved such poverty reductions through more egalitarian economic and political institutions. Yeah, okay. This is not to deny the extraordinary successes of Chinese industrial policy when it comes to rapidly building out energy and transit infrastructure or cultivating advanced manufacturing. The CCP's accomplishments are indeed formidable, and America can learn from them. Oh, great. So you agree with me. But there is little reason for a person with Piker's ostensible values to revere a political economy in which welfare spending is low, labor unions. Okay, I don't care about any of this shit, okay? Each country has a different design. What works in China is not always going to work in the United States of America. which is ironic because that is a very Chinese way of looking at things. This is unironically how the Chinese look at it, where they're like, look, your system is different than ours. This works for us. It might not work for you. But my argument is there are certain things that we can learn from the Chinese industrialization initiatives. And I think we could learn some very valuable lessons. That's it. His position, therefore, seems to be grounded mostly in the fact that China supports socialism in theory and opposes American global influence in practice. Oh, my God. Yeah, China, the major opposition to American global influence. By what? By just fucking existing, I guess. If you actually knew anything about my criticism of China, you would know that they should probably do a little bit more to prop up countries like Cuba, for example. But they don't. Unironically, I'm fairly critical of Chinese foreign policy because I feel like it's not only self-defeating because they're not being super serious about the way that America is treating China. Hassan Piker is now the third most watched Twitch streamer in the world. This comes as pro-Israel influencers and publishers are currently trying to cancel him. Yeah, I love that. Not really the main point, but I do think that part of what makes Hassan Piker's popularity notable is that he built a large audience on Twitch largely without gaming. Thousands tune into his platform built around gaming to watch his socialist takes on politics, not for the gaming. Yeah, that's true. Will Staken, he's definitely in here. Senior Washington reporter for ABC News. He's definitely a Hasanabi head, straight up. Bro, Zoran cooked you? Today marks the 111th anniversary of the Armenian genocide. Come on, guys. That's fucked up to say he cooked me. What do you mean, dude? That's crazy. Oh, man. In 2020, the military forces of Azerbaijan and Turkey attacked. Ooh. Okay, Zoran. Okay, Zoran. Okay. Not only connecting it to policy that also favors Israel, Eric Adams would never do that shit. Let me tell you. He did a twofer right there. Okay. All right. Let's I don't want to go through the whole thing. I don't want to go through the entire thing. To your earlier point. Yeah. Framing the present crisis via old Cold War moralism won't work. That the US can now be seen as a vicious and amoral empire is progress. Our responsibility is to change it. Not to seek retroactive justifications in comparison to something worse, as John Gaddis used to say. Yet the explicit argument of my piece is that it is bad to justify the crimes of your side on the grounds that your enemies are even worse. Yet you resurrect the entire suitcase of Cold War justification for a U.S. empire that did exactly that. Miles, 45 million dead, etc. How many did the U.S. kill in the Cold War? My responsibility as an American is the crimes of my country, not some Archimedean position of the world. It's funny because you can't do one without the other, right? You can't do one without the other. That's the whole point. You have to constantly bring back Cold War era truisms over and over again, talking about how fucking devastating the scary bulwark of socialism, bulwark of communism is. All right. Now let's get to Trump orders military to shoot and kill Iranian boats laying mines.
Off in the Strait of Hormuz intensifies. This morning,
situation
President
monitoring
Trump
is now. I got to pee. I'll be back.
He's not under any pressure to make a deal with Iran, saying he has, quote, all the time in the world.
I don't want to rush it. I want to take my time. We have plenty of time.
But he is trying to up the pressure on Iran as the showdown over the critical waterway continues. Trump announcing he has ordered the military to, quote, shoot and kill any Iranian boats that may be laying mines in the strait.
We intend to conduct the boarding of your vessel.
The U.S. is also enforcing its own blockade of Iranian ports. The Pentagon posting this video of U.S. forces seizing a second Iranian tanker. It comes after Iran flexed its own muscles, releasing this produced video claiming to show masked soldiers boarding a commercial cargo ship, guns in hand. With no plans to resume negotiations, the war now heading into week 9. After initially calling it an excursion that would last 4 to 6 weeks, the president now saying this.
We were in the Korean War for 7 years.
But reporters pressing.
What do you say to the American people who question how much longer this will take? Obviously, you know that they are having higher...
You're such a disgrace. Did you hear what I just said? Vietnam. How many years was Vietnam?
Trump says he extended the current ceasefire with no deadline to give Iran time to come up with a peace plan, claiming the regime is fractured and, quote, in turmoil.
They have all new leadership and they're fighting like cats and dogs.
But security sources we spoke with paint a different picture of the Iranian regime. One source familiar with the intelligence tells ABC News there is no clear evidence of fractures at the level of core decision-making. Here at home, the toll of the war is mounting.
So if you're asking for more time to sort out negotiations
I'm not asking
with Iran,
you for more time.
I mean,
I'm not asking
in general.
for them. No,
but if
it's
you
not
need more time,
I'm not asking anybody for more time.
if you need more time, does that mean Americans should anticipate spending more on gasoline for the foreseeable future?
For a little while. And you know what they
Well,
get
how
for
long?
that? You know what they get for that? Iran without a nuclear weapon.
Now, all this comes as gas prices are now topping more than $4 a gallon. That's up more than $1 since the war began. And a new poll now shows that 73% of Americans believe the economy is getting worse. George.
Mary Bruce, thanks.
Iran is sending a team to Pakistan for a second round of talks with the United States, according to Pakistani and Iranian sources. Iran's top diplomat, Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, is expected to arrive tonight with a small delegation. It's unclear whether the U.S. will take part, though. It comes after new negotiations failed to materialize earlier in the week. During this morning's briefing, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the U.S. military will maintain the blockade on Iran's ports for as long as...
Look at this. Fifi's here as well.
Stop kicking her. Stop kicking her. That's crazy.
Kaya keeps kicking Fiona. She's such an ass.
You want to go out? Okay. Out.
Fiona Burger Grill, Mark's Kaya, and Rotisserie Chicken. Oh my God, you're right. Fiona does look like a burgle. Bro, did you do leg day? Yeah. All right.
it takes, and he urged Tehran to cut a peace deal.
Iran has an important choice, a chance to make a deal, a good deal, a wise deal. Iran has a historic chance to make a serious deal, and the ball is in their court. Either way, the War Department stands ready for what comes next, locked and loaded.
CNN's Elena Treen live this morning at the White House. Are you hearing anything about whether the United States is going to show up for these talks?
Yeah, look, I've been catching up with my sources here.
Famously, when you're constantly begging for a deal, you only do that when you have the upper hand, when you have the leverage. The side that has the maximum leverage is the side that's usually like, yeah, let's do a deal. Iran is begging for one, actually. They're positively begging for one. They're always like, come on, let's please do a deal. Let's please do a deal. Tasnim says that Araghchi is not there for talks. That's interesting. I thought that Araghchi was going, but maybe not.
Sarah, and I think the status of this is, one, they are obviously aware that the Iranian foreign minister is traveling.
Iran is in Pakistan for bilateral talks. Oh. If he's going there for bilateral talks, then, you know, it's not just going to go lies in the title. No. Araghchi is in Islamabad. That's true. Araghchi is going to Islamabad. But what he is going to Islamabad is potentially up for debate. Did you listen to the Daily? Yeah, I did. I did this morning. It was really interesting that Maggie Haberman came in hot and was like, no. A lot of people misunderstood our reporting. We weren't saying that Israel goaded Trump into doing this. Trump really wanted to do this on his own, which was really funny. It's like, oh, well, Maggie, cat's out of the fucking bag, don't you think? You kind of fucked it up by writing an article extensively. You're on Fox News right now from the New York Times interview. Again, dude, they did this. What the fuck is going on with Fox News? I don't understand what they're doing, man. I really don't get it. No, they're not. It's Mike Johnson. It's Michael Penis talking about the Department of Homeland Security receiving money.
Time to go through a laborious reconciliation process.
DHS Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen joins me now. Mr. Secretary, thanks for being with us here today. Just hearing from the Speaker, time is running out, money is running out. When for DHS?
Well,
they're trying to pin the Dems to you. This is an all-out effort. Yeah, they are. The U.S. government just put it in text that we're in conflict because of Israel. The official announcement from the U.S. government on why it launched military attacks against Iran. U.S. Department of State says on its website that the war started at the request of Israel. As the United States has explained in multiple letters to the U.S. Security Council, including most recently on March 10th, the United States is engaged in this conflict at the request of and in the collective self-defense of its Israeli ally. Look at that. Look at that, dude. It's just, how anti-Semitic. How anti-Semitic of them to say such anti-Semitism.
To Pakistan, I think that's obviously a
Wait,
good
I guess it's not
development,
anti-Semitic
for
if you
the
say
US,
it's good,
which is
though.
really
That's a good
trying
thing.
To get a second round of talks between Washington and Tehran in person on the books. But I think they're still working through what this could look like. But given that Aragachi is going to be in Pakistan.
Aragachi. Arigato. Gozaimasu. Tamagotchi Aragachi.
We know that there is also a U.S. logistics team that has been in place in Islamabad, really preparing for a potential second round of in-person talks. I think it could be likely that we could be seeing, some people from the Trump administration trying to do that. But right now, it's very much unclear, and I think it's all currently being discussed behind those closed doors in that building behind me, Sarah. But this could be a significant move. I mean, look, even though we've heard the president in recent days, he just repeated this yesterday, that there's no rush. He doesn't want to have pressure on him. He's kind of not putting any sort of definitive timeline on this extension of the ceasefire that he declared earlier this week. I know from the conversations I've been having throughout the Trump administration that they do not want this to drag on longer, and they do not want the Iranians to try and drag out talks either. And so they have really been pushing toward trying to get a second meeting in person back on the books, and also really trying to get negotiations to a place where they believe it could lead to a diplomatic solution. That has remained the priority through all of this, even as we have reporting that the Pentagon and the military has been preparing different options should this ceasefire not produce a peaceful solution. They've been working on different target and attack plans, many of them actually trained on the Strait of Hormuz. But overall, they still very much want to reach a deal with the Iranians. So this is a good development, but we really have to see where things stand and whether or not this could lead to talks in the next couple of days between Trump administration officials and the Iranians, Sarah.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, a diplomatic solution is the only solution unless you want a war to go on forever. Elena Treen, we will wait and see what happens with these talks. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Kate?
And joining us right now is CNN Global Affairs analyst Brett McGurk and CNN political national security analyst David Sanger of the New York Times. Good to see you, gentlemen. Brett, what do you make of this news that Iran is now sending a delegation, one that includes the foreign minister?
It's interesting, Kate, because Iran's position has been very clear that they will not negotiate so long as we have the blockade on Iranian ports. The messaging from the administration in the last 48 hours, we are keeping the blockade.
By the way, again, just another interesting point, okay? Just another interesting point, which is, of course, you know how like Fox News has been like, oh, focus on, and then centrist media, corporate media, or at least some of the loyal servants of Israel and corporate media have been saying the exact same things in both the Democratic Party. The handshake between centrist Democrats, right-wing Democrats, and reactionary forces also very clearly exists when it comes to American foreign policy. Brett McGurk is the best example of this, okay? Brett McGurk was one of the chief architects of Biden's MENA policy alongside Amos Hochstein. Brett McGurk has been fairly positive about all of the developments that Trump has initiated here. And yes, you're right. Brett McGurk should be in jail. Obviously, in a just world, he would be in jail. However, right now he's on CNN, right? Communist News Network, CNN, giving a laundered, totally whitewashed approach to Trump's Iran policy with minor concessions, with minor criticisms. He was glazing the shit out of the 12-day war when it was happening. Also on CNN. He now has a contract with CNN. He's a contributor. He's a paid contributor to CNN. So just remember that. Just on interesting note from the Echelon poll about you, Dems who have heard of you agree with you by a plurality, 47%. The 51% who wanted you condemned by party leaders only based it off the poll question about you loving 9/11 and don't know you beyond that. Measuring Hassan Piker's influence among Democrats. Wait, what the fuck? As luck would have it, the GOP-leaning fall perm Echelon Insights asked 1,000 registered voters nationwide. Piker is much less well-known than Ben Shapiro, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson. 60% of respondents said they had not heard of him. Just 2% of respondents had a very favorable opinion of him, and 5% had a somewhat favorable opinion of him. Just 4% feel somewhat unfavorable about him, and 11% feel very unfavorable about him. But that doesn't quite mean that Piker is marginally influential among Democrats, particularly young Democrats. We asked all Democrats for their thoughts on Hassan Piker, and after an introduction of some of his most controversial views, just over half said they would be explicitly opposed by party leaders. He should be explicitly opposed by party leaders. The Echelon is a right-wing pollster, by the way, and they did do a push poll. They're referencing a push poll where they were like, Hassan Piker is responsible for 9/11, loves Hamas, and hates Jews. Do you think he should be condemned by party leaders? And even with that fucking push poll, about a third said he can help fight MAGA or outright agree with Piker's views. This group is distinctly younger, non-white, and urban. Interestingly, Democrats who indicated they have heard of Hassan Piker agree with him or think he can help fight MAGA by a plurality of 47%. It doesn't appear that the survey Mr. Garrick is referring to actually makes his point. The people being paid to push anti-Hassan narratives need those polls so they can show deliverable results to their boss when asking for a raise next quarter? Yeah, I guess so. But it's not fucking working. But I do like that they think it's working because I think hopefully it will get people off my ass.
We're going to tighten the blockade, and yet you still see Arachi, the foreign minister, going to Islamabad. So that's an interesting development. You know, we've talked in the Ukraine context about diplomacy. Often there's a lot of motion without foreign movement, and that can mean you're really not making progress. But here, even some motion, I think, is important. So it's an interesting sign.
Is there a point where Brett McGurk will say, hey, why are we waging fucking war with Iran? No, of course not. I'm joking. That's never going to happen. Don't be silly.
I suspect he's going to talk to the Pakistanis about where Iran stands, given that they've had trying to get their act together in Tehran. Whether or not that leads to a U.S. team going, probably not, but we'll have to see. So,
dude, there's no way you got a 20-month subscriber in here. When did you say America deserved 9/11, and where's the full clip? Buddy, come on. I can't tell if you're fucking with me or not. It was in 2019. You got to be memeing.
I think it's a positive development, but, you know, we still have a long way to go to a deal.
To say the least. And David, you've done some new reporting this week on one big aspect that is central to the eventual end result of any of these talks, which is what to do about Iran's enriched uranium. What the president has called the nuclear dust, if you will, and to suggest it is... he's trying to suggest it is more insignificant than it actually is.
You said what about 9/11?
Well, I think we have to remember, Kate, this is what this whole thing was about, right? If it had not been for the presence of a nuclear program that includes 440 kilograms of near bomb-grade uranium, there wouldn't have been an attack to begin with on February 28th, or at least that's the administration's position. But their problem now is much larger because in order to make the president's commitment that Iran could never build a bomb real, they need to get not only that 440 kilograms, about 1,000 pounds of uranium out of the country, they need to get another 10 tons of material that Iran has that's enriched to lower levels. It's not as close to a bomb. And so that's a pretty comprehensive program. Very hard to understand how you would do that other than a negotiated release. And here, of course, the president is haunted.
Don't say that around Brett. He's going to get mad. For those counting, the articles The Atlantic has published about Hassan Piker this week, 4. Articles The Atlantic has published about Hind Rajab since she was murdered by Israel on January 29, 2024, 0. Graham Wood, who wrote several articles in 2023 arguing against a ceasefire in Gaza and published the most obscene genocide denial piece of 2024 where he lied about the death count and wrote, "It is possible to kill children legally," is now lamenting the immorality of shoplifting. Bro, it feels like it's like perfectly designed. Do you really support theft? Yes, dude, all the time. It's my favorite thing. Yeah, it is perfectly designed to show people that, like, these guys actually love theft. They love murder. They love it and will defend it if it's Israel doing it. They love it and defend it if it's America doing it. They love it and defend it if it's capital owners doing it to you. And anyone who even broaches that subject matter with any kind of sober analysis that looks at the system and says, you know, the system is entirely fucked, right? And that's probably the reason why people are stealing. It's not great that they are. I don't personally give a shit overall, but, you know, that's why it's happening. And they go, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, they care about a poor person stealing a loaf of bread a lot more than they do about an entire nation state stealing homes from the Palestinians. An entire nation state, the United States of America, stealing Venezuela's natural resources, its oil. They care a whole lot more about a poor person stealing a loaf of bread than they do about your boss stealing your fucking wages. Okay?
A little bit by the deal that he passed by or pulled out of in 2018, because President Obama managed to get about 97% of Iran's stockpile out of the country in 2015, 2016. That left them with some, but nothing near what they have today.
And Brett, one of David's colleagues at the New York Times has some pretty amazing reporting about what from sources inside Iran about the state of the supreme leader there, that on that February 28th strike that made Mujtaba Khamenei the supreme leader now, he was gravely injured, disfigured, burned to an extent that he can't speak well. We have not seen or heard, we've seen messages, but it's also led to him being in hiding, surrounded by doctors, no electronics around him in order so that it can't be detected, which has had him delegate and kind of relegate and leave a lot of the responsibility and decision making to the IRGC, including kind of leading on this diplomatic front. If this really is the case in the state of the supreme leader, what does that mean for these negotiations? Because the central question has remained, who can actually secure a deal?
Isn't this the lady that Slime said he's in love with? For those who watch the Fear and podcast, this is her, right? This is Slime's crush.
Part of the Iranians
Sorry.
that the country will follow.
Yeah, Kate, it makes it much harder. I mean, negotiating with Iran was difficult even when you had Khamenei, the supreme leader, and he had like they call it a five-man group around him that would kind of bless final decisions. You kind of knew that was the system. But they still had some fractures and debate, but it was really the supreme leader and the office of the supreme leader, the people around him in charge. So if you don't have that, the first time since the 1979 revolution, you don't have a supreme leader really firmly in charge. And the reporting from the New York Times that he's communicating with written messages, kind of like a Osama bin Laden in hiding type situation, makes it even more difficult because this negotiation, Kate, on nuclear material and sanctions relief, it is complicated stuff. It requires back and forth. It requires adjustments here and there. It's going to take time. So if that's how they're making decisions, it's really hard to see the road from here to a verifiable nuclear deal. You can maybe come up with a framework arrangement, but I go back to where I started. I think we're a long way from any sort of a real verifiable nuclear agreement. This is nuclear physics, requires inspections, international monitors, and then the sanctions relief is also very important, which is a part of it. And I wouldn't put aside the concern about missiles, support for terrorism, and of course the Iranian people, which we can't put aside. But obviously these talks are very focused on the nuclear.
Yeah, and David, just a quote that you had in one of your pieces. Is
guy who only knows one Muslim, getting a lot of Osama bin Laden vibes from this guy. Yeah.
This week from Robert Malley, who's negotiated with the Iranians leading up to the 2015 deal and the failed attempt with the Biden administration. Just comparing the style and approach, was it fascinating?
Getting a lot of Boss Baby vibes from this situation. I've only seen Boss Baby. That's my only frame of reference here. McGurk is an Israeli asset. Yes, 100%. He is unbelievably pro-Israel. He's got financial entanglements with the Gulf. He's got, I assume, some financial entanglements with Israel, or at least has unbelievable ideological loyalty to the Zionist project. And no, before people go, oh, you're being anti-Semitic, he's not Jewish. Okay. So, don't even, he is the perfect demonstration, him and Joe Biden, the perfect demonstration that loyalty to the Zionist project is not simply a Jewish thing in the way that people present it. He is a beacon of the bipartisan nature of American foreign policy. He is a fixture in modern American foreign policy establishment. So just remember that.
Kind of pulling together by Mali. Trump is impulsive and temperamental. Iran's leadership is stubborn and tenacious. Trump demands immediate results. Iran's leadership plays the long game. Trump insists on a flashy, headline-grabbing outcome. Iran's leadership sweats every detail. Trump believes brute force can compel obedience. Iran's leadership is prepared to endure enormous pain rather than concede on core interests. And I'm just left thinking, yeah, that means quite a bit to how this could ever eventually come to an end.
Well, you know, there's a reason, Kate, that agreement in 2015 was 150 pages long, even a little longer, had 5 annexes to it, that it took nearly 2 years to negotiate. Because as Brett suggests here, the devil is truly in the details here. What the inspection and verification looks like. How you define no nuclear activity. Does that mean no nuclear research? Does that mean that you can keep some of the equipment, but you can't actually be putting nuclear material into it? All kinds of complex issues. And so Brett points out rightly that if you've got this system where it's not clear who's making the decision, that's a lot of material to go through.
Congressman, let me ask you first on the news that we just got in from Pakistani and Iranian sources that Iran is now planning to send a delegation to Pakistan for talks. Unclear what the United States will do, but what's your reaction?
Well, I hope negotiations continue. There needs to be a diplomatic resolution to this situation. I don't believe you're going to be able to bomb it out. I think there is a matter of trust right now. The Iranians don't trust the United States, and of course, we don't trust Iran. And so I think that getting and engaging more of our allies in it so that there's individuals. I thank Pakistan for what it's doing, but you have to negotiate your way out of this, and that's going to take sitting down and having real dialogue and conversation, and that could take some time. I would hope that part of the deal that is struck is that the strait is open while these negotiations take place so that there are thorough negotiations of which both sides can agree and people don't suffer, because of the cost
My life
of oil,
for Pakistan.
The cost of fertilizer,
Pakistan,
and rising costs that affect both the American people, of course, as we're feeling right now, and others around the world.
Not only is the blockade growing, in fact, a second aircraft carrier will join the blockade in just a few days, but this growing blockade is also gone global. Just this week.
Now that I started wearing suits, ill-fitting suits, mind you, more often, I have recognized that this man, with the exception of his ugly ass fucking, American pocket, his napkin that he wears on his fucking pocket, his sartorial choices are pretty good. Like his suits are so well dressed. I hate that he is like his pocket square. Yeah. Napkin that he wears on his fucking pocket. I hate that his fits go kind of hard. Otherwise, like they're very well fitting. They're very well tailored. I mean, he was a TV guy for the longest time. That's probably why. If the talks were hosted in New Delhi, we would have had a treaty by now. Yeah, I am getting fucking mogged by this dipshit, both with the fact that he can do 3 plates and also he has a really nice suits.
We seized 2 Iranian dark fleet ships in the Indo-Pacific region that...
Brett McGurk, Biden's National Security Council coordinator for the Middle East and North Africa, just said on CNN that the lesson here is that Iran shouldn't have started this war against Israel and no pushback whatsoever from everyone. This was back in June 21, 2025, back when Brett McGurk was going on and glazing the 12-day war over and over again. Those 3 plates were fake confirmed. Bro, you can afford a tailor? I know, man. I know. You're not telling me something I don't know, okay? I do know that. The problem is I don't have time. When do I have time to go to the fucking tailor, dog? When? Like, think about it. Do you know what I did this morning? I talk about what I do. Like, I say I'm a chud-ass loser. But, like, I end the broadcast. Okay? Last night I ended it at 11, right? I did, like, additional work on top of, additional streams on top of my regular stream. I go to sleep. I rush back home. I fucking pass out. I woke up at 6 a.m. I worked out. I did 1 private phone call. I will not be revealing with who I will be linking up with soon. And then after that, I did a whole thing with Jasper Nathaniel for his Substack. We did a video podcast. That's why I was late. I didn't have a single fucking moment, right?
Had left Iranian ports before.
No, it's not Barack Obama, guys. It's not.
And pussy too.
Wait, he's here? Barack, get out of here.
And pussy too.
Stop. Barack. Bro, Barack, why do you... Yo, Barry, chill.
And pussy too.
What the fuck? He's in here. Yeah, no, I talked to Trump. I'm going to be doing a podcast with Trump.
May Allah awaken the people.
Dude, Trump is here too. What the fuck? It's too busy. It's too busy. They're just off. They're just busy off screen. They're hanging out. They're hanging out with one another.
The blockade went into effect. They thought they'd made it out just in time. They did not. We seized their sanctioned ships, and we will seize more. No one sails from the Strait of Hormuz to anywhere in the world without the permission of the United States Navy. To the regime in Tehran, the blockade is tightening by the hour. We are in control. Nothing in, nothing out. Iran's battered military, the IRGC specifically, has been reduced to a gang of pirates with a flag. Iran knows that they still have an open window to choose wisely. As we said previously, choose wisely at the negotiating table. All they have to do is abandon a nuclear weapon in meaningful and verifiable ways, or instead they can watch their regime's fragile economic state collapse under the unrelenting pressure of American power. A blockade as long as it takes, whatever President Trump decides. Because the bottom line remains the bottom line. Iran will never get a nuclear bomb. The choice is theirs, but with this blockade, the clock is not on their side. Moreover, President Trump has authorized the United States Navy to destroy any Iranian fast boats that attempt to put mines in the water or disrupt passage through the Strait of Hormuz, to shoot and kill. Our commanders have clear rules of engagement. If Iran is putting mines in the water or otherwise threatening American commercial shipping or American forces, we will shoot to destroy. No hesitation, just like the drug boats in the Caribbean. It's also worth saying, this should not be America's fight alone. We barely use the Strait of Hormuz as a country. Our energy doesn't flow through there, and we have plenty of energy. Just look at the new global Congo line, headed to Texas. A beautiful picture. Europe and Asia have benefited from our protection for decades, but the time for free riding is over.
Day 56 of the war has brought a series of claims, military claims, some more substantial than others. One was that the United States...
So good, dude. It's so good. You guys don't understand. It's actually really good. According to Russia News, quoting Iranian officials, negotiations with the U.S. under current circumstances and conditions have been forbidden by the Iranian leader. So yeah, what's going on right now? Is our boy, Foreign Minister Abbas Saeed Arakshi, is going to Islamabad. However, he's also going to Oman, and he's going to do bilateral talks with both Russia and numerous other countries, as is the case, as is his duty as the foreign minister. America is using that as an opportunity to make it seem like they are also in talks with Iran. America is also sending their envoys, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, to have talks as well. I'm not entirely certain if Abbas Arakshi will have private communications while they're both there, through envoys, through mediators. I don't know. Iran is saying that no talks are happening. America is saying all talks are happening. Both parties do have a tendency from time to time to embellish or to misrepresent what's actually going on for their own political benefits. So, I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be actual conversations or not.
Sink on sight any Iranian boats they saw putting mines into the Strait of Hormuz. Well, The American ships are the other side of the blockade line. That's about 300 miles away. They can't do very much. It's possible, of course, that the US could operate their aircraft, say, from Al Udeid in Doha. But if they did, they'd have to have aircraft circulating in this area, ready to go against any boat that they saw planting mines. That would actually leave them in a relatively vulnerable position, hanging around, waiting for a target. They're not likely to want to do that. The problem with mines is that although some of them require quite a lot of specialist equipment, like these moored mines and maybe even the seabed mines, the floating mines are very easy to sow. Any motorboat can just throw floating mines off the back of the boat and be away again. Floating mines are very dangerous because they can go anywhere. They go with tide and current. They can effectively close a big area of water because they just spread out. Dangerous thing to do, but nevertheless, if the Iranians decide to do that, there's not much that the Americans can do about it in reality. The other thing the Americans said today, which doesn't have a great deal of credibility, is that the blockade is now total. Well, maybe it is, but it hasn't been until now. Cargo tracking services have revealed that up to Wednesday this week, 34 ships came and went across the blockade line, 19 going outwards, 15 going inwards, and indeed about 10 million barrels of Iranian oil, they said, went through the blockade line up to Wednesday this week. Maybe the blockade line will be tighter from now, but it hasn't been so far. The issue which the Americans are much more credible on is their reinforcements. The USS Tripoli, an amphibious assault group, that's been in theatre for a while. The USS Boxer is on its way, another amphibious assault group. And by early next week, the United States will have 3 carrier battle groups in the area. They have the Abraham Lincoln, which has been there for...
I think they're waiting for this, by the way. If they were to make any sort of escalatory moves, they would do it after this, right? After this new positioning. And part of the problem was they couldn't go through the Red Sea, so they had to go through the Horn of Africa instead. So we shall see if they escalate further from this point on. And in the process, while they've been moving another strike group, another aircraft carrier into the region, they also were continuously sending more troops into the area as well. I believe the number at this point is like upwards of 50,000 plus. It's not enough for a land invasion of Iran. Of course it's not. But it could be enough, at least with some of the analysts, some of the journalists that I talked to in the NatSec side and the Pentagon side. The assessment is that, and Klippenstein has reported on this as well, the assessment is not that there will be a full-blown military invasion of Iranian soil, but enough of troops have amassed specifically for, some kind of special operation, whether it be something so spectacular and maybe even foolish as to try to secure the Isfahan facility and extract the enriched uranium by force. Not sure if they would try something so crazy, but enough amassed troops for a potential invasion of one of the islands. So that is, guys, I know that it's impossible to fucking do a full-blown campaign on Isfahan. I'm just saying that they have amassed enough troops for a special operation, like trying to take over one of the islands, like whether it be Karg or other islands, and protect the coastline as well. Once again, also an unbelievably difficult endeavor, regardless, and with no guarantees of continuously holding a potential forward operating base that they build on any of these islands if they were to even successfully defeat the conventional forces on the ground. Very, very difficult for them to maintain a military presence there. Yes, I will be watching the Michigan primary debate. I'll tune into it a little bit.
Sometime. They have the Gerald Ford, which is on its way into the Red Sea and is now down at the southern part of the Red Sea. And they have the George H.W. Bush, which has been on its way up the coast of Africa, and that will be in theatre very soon. They will soon have 3 carrier strike groups, 2 Marine Expeditionary Units, the 31st and the 11th, with a great concentration of power. And not least, they have at least a brigade from the elite 82nd Airborne. And that will give them another 3,000 parachute troops. So 10,000 extra troops in total added to the 35 or 40,000 they have in the region as a whole. That's a really powerful force. What's it there for? To intimidate the Iranians, possibly. Also to persuade the Iranians that they really have to make a deal in Islamabad. It looks as if the Islamabad talks might now be on again for some time over the weekend or early next week. But here's the problem. One of the spoilers to the Islamabad talks is the war within a war in Lebanon. And although there has been, last night declared, a 3-week ceasefire in Lebanon, which is good news, that's not likely to be a complete ceasefire. And the Israelis have got their agenda. And their agenda is to create this forward defense line, this buffer zone, all the way along southern Lebanon, right through to the northern part, into Mount Hermon, which they've already occupied, including parts of Lebanon and parts of Syria. The Golan Heights doesn't belong to Israel, but they've annexed it. In international law, that's illegal, but nevertheless, that's where they are. And the Israelis are determined to hold on to that buffer zone to protect northern Israel. Equally determinedly, Hezbollah will not be disarmed, and they are determined at some point in the future to completely destroy Israel. So whether or not there's a 2 or 3 week ceasefire, this war within a war will certainly go on. Which leaves us back at the possibility of some resolution in the coming days. The fact is that both Iran and the United States really want to get out of this. They're both looking for a way out. President Trump says he's in no hurry to make a deal. Pete Hegseth, the Secretary for War, said today, we have all the time in the world. He actually said it twice. We have all the time in the world. They don't. The clock is ticking for both sides on this, but I think the clock is ticking ever more loudly for the US side.
We begin with breaking news. After the...
Oh, yeah. A Mohammedan Dani. Breaking news. The Islamist Mohammedan Dani has come out and shown the perfidious nature of the Taqiyya practicing Shia 12er. That's right. Sharia law is thriving, folks. I'm here to clock his tea, okay? Shakira Law from the Taquito practicing Mamba Dabba Dabby. Here it is.
City Council passed 2 buffer zone bills. Today, the mayor vetoed one that would have established those zones at school protests. Alice Gaynor is live in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, where the mayor just spoke on the issue. Alice?
Yeah, the mayor says he has constitutional concerns over the bill he vetoed, but let's start with the one he's allowing to go into effect. Now, the final version of the bill, the mayor says, is narrower in scope and effect and now requires the NYPD to document its existing practices related to protests near houses of worship. The bill he vetoed would have required the police commissioner to establish a plan for buffer zones during protests near educational facilities.
The second does not have a counterbalance to the...
What happened here, my man? God damn. What the heliante happened here? 2, not 1, but 2 stray hairs right on your forehead? Crazy. Looking like you worked up a sweat governing hard as hell. He bikes to work, true.
From the civil
Let's take a look.
rights movement in the 1960s to anti-war protests just this month, our city's history is written by those who refuse to stay silent. As mayor, I stand firmly on the side of New Yorkers' right to challenge power. Yes, even mine. Last month, the City Council passed 2 bills related to this right, known as buffer zone bills. Today, I am letting one of them go into effect and vetoing the other. Here's why. The first bill is Intro 1B, which applies to houses of worship. I understand this issue is deeply significant to many New Yorkers. The right to worship is as sacred as the right to protest. New Yorkers deserve the ability to gather with fellow congregants, listen to scripture, and pray freely. The original version of the bill raised constitutional concerns. However, the final version of it as passed is narrower in scope and effect. It requires the NYPD to write down its existing practices related to protests near houses of worship. That is why I will allow this legislation to go into effect, although I disagree with its framing of all protest as a security concern. The second, Intro 175B.
So I still don't agree with this, by the way. I think he should have just yeeted that one too. Like, you should be able to still engage in protests when synagogues are doing land fairs, and I guess or settler fairs. And I guess his argument is going to be going forward that they have to write down exactly why they're trying to do a buffer. He can't. It's veto proof. Yes. It's a veto proof majority. I know. Mamdani to veto protest buffer zone bill that would criminalize protests outside of schools, which plainly violates constitutional rights. Opts not to veto protest bill for house of worship, which was defanged into being a totally redundant to existing law. For what it's worth, I think it was the closest you could get to the right call. Vetoing on principle is a toothless bill would do nothing but give Menin ammo. Vetoing an unconstitutional bill means that what comes next is either as it should be or a legal headache for Menin, not Mamdani. First bill is redundant to existing New York Police Department policy, and the second is likely unconstitutional. Expecting or demanding a Mamdani veto is demanding that he faceplant on an obvious PR trap. A civil suit will take place, will take care of this without giving Menin et al. The media Mamdani bashing that they want. Question now is why Menin apparently tried to mislead people by describing the veto of legislation as plainly unconstitutional and that attacks the First Amendment rights of New Yorkers controversial. Is Menin's world, in Menin's world, are only select groups allowed to protest? Maybe now they have to write what the sale is for what they want to protest court in. Yeah. I guess that's a part of it. Correct, but also a minor point to clarity. The House of Worship law was initially supposed to be 100-foot barrier that Menin wanted to pass, but after serious revisions, it was gutted. The law now directs NYPD to review practices around protests, around houses of worship, meaning they can establish barriers. Correct, but also a minor point of clarity. NYPD was directed to outline in writing their plan of action. They already operationally established frozen zones and pathways for egress. The bill was defanged so much that now all it is asking NYPD to do is to write out what they already do. The protest that provoked this was already using pens to keep two sides apart and ensure egress. The legislation was pushed through based on claims made by far-right extremists of Beitar who intentionally walked into protest pens to provoke, then falsely claim being blocked. I have a question. How is America fascist when we have immigrants coming here and wanting to stay here? Wouldn't you want to leave if you came to another country and the very best come to a fascist country? How's America fascist? Is this because of did the Peter Beinart thing just come out? Is that why? Because I said that, there are spiritually fascist politicians in this country. What is that? Oh, okay. The reason why people come here is because regardless of the unfair and unjustifiable and unbelievably violent policies that American politicians actively move around, actively push for, we are far more brutal to their original countries, and that's the reason why they choose to come here. Yes, I had it's still better to live in a fascist place that isn't being bombed than to live in your original country that is being bombed. How Hassan Piker sees the world. Wait, this is only 7 minutes long? Oh, he's just giving a taste. Twitch streamer and political commentator Hassan Piker has been much in the news as of late. He first rose to fame as the host of The Young Turks, where he created the series The Breakdown. Topics include defining imperialism, the fall of the Soviet Union, and its impact on the world, South Africa's ANC versus Hamas forms of resistance, reusing the term Nazi. Just giving a little taste. I saw the McMurrow major FEC violation chat. I know. Our boy might have the heavens mandate, the Jannah's mandate. Did he interview or just make a piece? No, we talked. We talked, and we even, I would dare I say, debate. We debated. Debat. We didn't just talk, we debat. Me and Peter. It's healthy. It's good. It hopefully will yield more productive conversations. We shall see. Because we largely agree on many things. But there are, I guess, some aesthetic disagreements that we have. Like in terms of the utilization of the deployment of the term Nazi, right? He has a disagreement with me on that. But I think if you were to listen to our conversation, you would probably come out on my side on that issue. Maybe even some people in his audience might come out on my side on that issue. Yeah. Did you see Dave Smith did a 30-minute segment on you on a show and all of his fans in the comments were on your side? I did not. I don't know why people keep bringing this up. Someone said Dave Smith claimed that I chickened out of talking to him. Dave Smith never replied to my DM. I literally DM'd him giving him props. I was like, we don't agree on much, but I wanted to give you props for holding firm on the Israel stuff. And he never fucking responded to my DM. And now he's running around. I just watched the Rage VOD. I'm ready to do Chad Vice if the callers are going to be of the same caliber. Yeah, I showed the DM yesterday. Hell yeah, Connor eats pants. They will always be of the same caliber, if not better. A second national review, Atrical for today is at the timeline. Yeah, we saw this already. No one will believe you if you don't show it. I did. I showed it yesterday. I leaked the DM. Tim Pool has Randy Fine on his podcast, makes comments, subscribers only, Lamau. Oh, hell yeah. Bro, they got your ass. The more scared the right wing is of you, the less they will say you matter. Yeah. Dude, they got your ass posted all over the internet like bounty posters. I know. They're writing and speaking on you like you're trying to run for office. I know. I don't know why they're so bent. This is what Menin was up to earlier this month. In New York City, we all voted for New York City mayor and his affordability agenda, not former Republican Julie Menin, the wealthiest person in New York City Council history, protecting her $22 million beach mansion and her ultra-rich friends. A previously unreported internal union memo shows that Menin helped plan a protest outside of the mayor's 100-day speech in Queens on Sunday, an unusual and major escalation of tensions, though both she and the labor organization denied any plotting took place. Menin, they're treating you like a presidential frontrunner, no joke. They're hitting me with the AOC treatment, okay? And I hope people in this community are a little bit more woke about this, where the AOC treatment is when you just fucking constantly blast AOC on Fox News and then show her base-boosted disapproval ratings from the Republican side to say she would be a horribly controversial figure to run. And then the establishment liberals look at those numbers and say, yeah, we should move away from AOC's brand of politics. Look at how fucking controversial she is. It's nonsense. Okay? They're doing the same exact shit to me right now. That's the Echelon poll. That was the exact same thing, right? They do a week-long media blast showing every fucking 85-year-old Klansman and their wives that are 80 years old watching Fox News every day. Constant fucking articles about how dangerous and scary I am. And then they turn around and they show the negative approval rating, because obviously it's like inflamed on the Republican side. Because if you look at the Echelon poll, you'll see more Republicans know who I am than Democrats overall. And they're the ones who are, fronting the large majority of disapproval. So then they use that overall disapproval rating to be like, see, he's quite the controversial guy. He's bad. They did that with AOC. And they still do it with AOC. AOC is a beloved figure on the left, okay? Everything to the left of the center, AOC has incredible metrics. So whenever they talk about AOC being controversial, they're actually talking about how bad her overall approval rating is because Republicans fucking despise her. Yeah, the center likes her, the left likes her, liberals love her. But of course, right-wingers fucking despise her. Why do they despise her? Because she has been the leader of all of the enmity, all the animosity on the Republican smear machine. Same thing with Ilhan Omar. Same thing with Rashida Tlaib. It doesn't matter. In order to fucking win elections, you don't have to win Republican voters, okay? You have to win the independents and you have to win the Democrats and those who don't normally vote. That's how you win elections. The idea that like we have to win over Republican voters is a fucking stupid concept. Don't know who invented it, but it's actually obviously very favorable to the third way neoliberal think tank, and that's why it's the only meta that you hear about. Okay? It's important to, unironically, this is good. We need to draw the lines clearly on who has your back, who attacks you, and who stays silent. It's important to note that centrists work with right-wing media. They retweet fucking Nazis as long as they attack you. It's a coordinated billionaire run-op. Yes. Yes. Near attendant, who is like talking about how anti-woke I am, has retweeted Richard Hanania, a white supremacist, Nick Fuentes, another neo-Nazi, and Sneeko. So like, they don't even care if someone is anti-Israel as long as they're shitting on me. They're like, oh, it's good. We'll take it. Because from a centrist perspective, I am a far graver threat to their established position within the party than some fucking right-wing neo-Nazi is, right? That's what it is. What is this? You wouldn't download a car as a meme. The Hassan segment is weak as fuck. You missed the point entirely. Dave having this many Hassan fans in his fan base makes everything so much funnier. Damn. People in his fan base are defending my ass. Dave, Hassan is talking about downloading a car as theft, not stealing one. Dave, you usually don't miss the point, but you missed Hassan's point completely. Wait, isn't Dave a libertarian? He's fucking angry about IP theft? There's no way that a libertarian would want to... Are libertarians also pro patents? Aren't they like... I guess they might be. Libertarians love IP. So I feel like some libertarians don't. He's angry that you said words. And I love the show, but I feel like Hassan bit was completely off and I hate the guy. I thought I heard him say he'd pirate a car, not steal a physical car. And his bit about paintings at the Louvre seemed like a joke, no? The Hassan segment was pretty pathetic. Felt embarrassing to watch. Dave playing a semantic game, being super literal, grasping at straws to belittle someone he clearly has no real point on. Oh my God, what the fuck? Hassan was not saying he would literally steal a car. He was talking in a sarcastic way, saying that anti-piracy ads comparing piracy to stealing a car was a false equivalent. It's not the same thing. And if he could piracy-style download a car, he would do it. The whole point was there's a difference between copying IP and actually literally stealing a physical thing belonging to someone. If you listen to David All, you would know that he acknowledged that there's a difference between stealing someone's intellectual property and stealing a car. Hassan Piker did more than say piracy isn't a big deal. He justified murder in the name of blah, 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 all this shit. Clip 1, stealing a car is not the same as, oh my God, they're duking it out in the YouTube comments, defending my honor. Do you think they're retweeting right-wingers to present a unified front against you to make it seem like it's a justified and moral position? If you have personal animosity towards me, like in the case of Sex Pestiny, right? You don't give a fuck who you're aligning with, as long as they're saying, fuck Hassan, let's kill Hassan, right? And for Near Attendant is a shrewd and clever operator who understands that I or this movement presents a real threat because she has been the gatekeeper of what it means to be progressive. Okay? For Epstein doesn't give a shit. He'll retweet the RNC. He'll retweet senators. He has literally tried to get Tom Cotton to pull me in front of Congress. Those guys are fucking animals, okay? They have no real consistency. They talk about how they hate the MAGA right, but they absolutely... The moment that Donald Trump talks about like how bad I am, he will absolutely say, oh, I hate the guy, but I have to hand it to him, okay? 100%. You'll see it happen. Maybe now that I said it, because his position is permanently contrarian to everything that I say, he might actually, for the first time ever, not align with a fucking right-wing shithead. But for Near Attendant, it's different. Near Attendant does the exact same thing as Sex Pestiny, but it's not actually coming from a place of like pure vitriol and pure hatred towards who I am, more so about what this movement represents. Near Attendant, at the head of the Center for American Progress, is supposed to be the last, like, is supposed to be the biggest bottleneck for further left movements. Her entire position is to say, this is the appropriate progressive position for the Democratic Party, which is Clinton, Hillary Clinton, right? Who she worked with for many years. So if this movement, if this left flank movement, if this left populist movement that says, no, we have to do class first politics, we have to push for healthcare, and things of that nature. If that movement actually gains momentum with electoral victories, all of a sudden her position in the party is under great threat. Yeah, look. Neera Tanden is sharing Nick Fuentes videos now. Do not vote in the midterms, and if you do vote Democrat, this administration needs to be shut down. You have a chokehold on the barbers over 60 years old, MSM Cook.
Hassan Piker, let's talk about it. Why is everybody making such a big deal about Hassan?
We got the barbers!
Why. Because Hassan appeals to all the people that the Democratic Party do not appeal to. People who've had it with the party, who are sick of it. People who want to know what's really going on, and now what corporate Democrats are telling us. And Hassan says it like it is. They say that his demographic on Twitch is mainly young men, but it's not true. Look at me, this boomer here, and I'm telling you right now, if you've missed Hassan, find him. He's on Twitch, he's on YouTube, he's on TikTok.
What is this music? I love it. I love it. Hell yeah.
He's everywhere, and he's great. Sure, is he vulgar a little bit? Yeah. Does he swear? Hell yeah. But if you want to get your news and you want to know what's really going on, check out Hassan. That's why they're trying.
We got the barbs on our side, the new barbs, not the old barbs, not the Nicki Minaj stands. Well, some of them are on our side too. All right, let's continue. How did I get on this fucking tangent? Oh, we were talking about Mamdani.
Which applies to educational institutions, is meaningfully different. The problem is how widely this bill defines an educational institution and the constitutional concerns it raises regarding New Yorkers' fundamental right to protest. As the bill is written, everywhere from universities to...
Someone said maybe Neera hates you because you remind her of Faiz Shakir. That's funny. I wonder if he would appreciate that comparison.
Museums to teaching hospitals could face restrictions. Say you're a worker protesting ICE, or a college student demanding your school divest from fossil fuels, or demonstrating in support of Palestinian rights. Intro 175B is not a narrow public safety measure. It is a piece of legislation that has alarmed much of the labor movement, reproductive rights groups, and immigration advocates, amongst others, across this city. Nearly a dozen unions have raised the alarm about its impact on their ability to organize. That is why I am vetoing this legislation. These topics are inherently complicated. Debate, disagreement, and even protest are too. But we believe the constitutional rights to protest and to worship are both invaluable. Our city will continue to uphold both, and we will make sure that protection, prayer, and protest are guaranteed for every New Yorker.
All right.
The right to protest, it opens itself up to those constitutional concerns, and it also defines educational institutions in such...
Sean is talking about you on the radio right now. Wait, Hannity? How the fuck are you tuned in to Sean Hannity's radio broadcast, brother? That is crazy. That is actually crazy to me, okay? It's one thing to be like, oh, Sean Hannity, I saw this like podcast after he was posted. You're listening to him live on AM radio? I don't even know how I would tune into the Sean Hannity live radio broadcast. It's good. It's good that my spies are everywhere, okay? I like that. You complaining about having shooters chill? No, I'm not. It's still unbelievable, though. Wait, is this how you tune in? The fuck's he saying? How can I even hear it? It's not playing for me. Is it perhaps because I have this on? Maybe?
At the University of Redlands, you won't just prepare.
Oh, my God. Listen here.
Sean, if you want to be a part of the program, health, wellness, fitness, nutrition, longevity. Collaborated or sought his platform. Bernie Sanders praised him. Revolution in Media thanked him. AOC hosted live stream conversations with him. Congresswoman Tlaib, Ro Khanna has been on many times. Open to further engagement.
Call in. No, I'm not going to call in because I'm actually going to debate him. I don't want to fucking call him on his radio show. I'm actually going to debate him in person.
Zoran, Marxist, Kami, Mamdani, Congresswoman Summer Lee, joining Piker. And then the others expressed openness, including Gavin Newsom and Tom Steyer and others. But So why is it important? I think people need to understand. What do I talk often about on this program? I talk about radicalism, radical leftism. There's nothing to debate with this guy. I mean, if you want to rationalize, the thought pattern of people in this country that have no problem with assassinating the United Healthcare CEO.
What the? Okay. It's a parody, man. It's a parody account.
You're going to align yourself with prominent elected Democrats. Does that not prove how radicalized that party has become? I'm going to retweet this.
But, Sean, with all due respect, and I mean this seriously, you're giving a platform to someone, and it doesn't matter who aligns with him, because if you look at accountability, there's none of it. Nobody goes to jail. There is no accountability. We have a Republican House and Senate who can't get one damn thing passed that our president wants. No accountability. They all go on vacation.
Stay focused.
No, but I'm just saying, this is my point. There is no accountability, right?
Is this
or
lady
left,
saying
right?
I should go to jail for thought crimes?
You're not drawing attention to anything, because at the end of the day, we're coming up on the 25th anniversary of 9/11. How many people have died on 9/11? How many people have died post 9/11? How many families were lost, broken, shattered? And now you're going to bring on the guy who said America deserved it. I'm sorry, that guy doesn't get a voice. In fact, I would like him to have no vocal cords at all. I don't think he should be talking, period.
Now you sound like him. Do you want to rip out his vocal cords?
Yeah, why don't I? He likes to say hyperbole and sarcasm is what he means when he says, that this United CEO deserved it. That's hyperbole and sarcasm.
His style and techniques.
That's what I'm saying. We're making a comparison.
I think you're missing the bigger point.
What is the bigger point?
Look, when I took on the issue of the Pope and his remarks that God never approves of conflict, is not biblically accurate to me. It was just a disagreement. Everyone ignored all the good things I said about the Catholic Church and its impact on me and my life, and that's fine. But I knew going in that what the predictable result would be. I know going in what the predictable result will be. How dare you platform him, etc. That's not the point. My argument has been for the longest time is that this Democratic Party has been so radicalized, it represents nothing of the past Democratic Party.
Shawnee boy, defending me.
Democratic is a process.
The Democrat Party, whatever. Stop. You're nitpicking. And my point is that people like Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries are leaders in name only, and they bow at the altar of these radicals because they're the ones that are really in control. And that's why Schumer wouldn't even stand up to Mamdani. That's why Hakeem
What do you mean?
Jeffries
He cowered away. He never endorsed them.
That's not why.
No, it is so, because they know they would alienate their base, and
Negative.
they wouldn't even be leaders in name only at that point. They would be done. They'd be gone.
Negative.
Gone.
Nope. I
Done.
disagree. You want to know why?
You're wrong.
You don't even know what I'm going to say. How could the defense be wrong? I haven't even started yet.
The defense is wrong.
Let me tell you why. The reason why they don't stand up to him, the reason why they're all in bed
agree with him
together
secretly.
is because the guy that's paying for all of their campaigns, the guy that's paying for everything they do, it's all the same people. It's all the same organizations. They have to stay lockstep. It's like I always say, Democrats are incredible at staying together. They are like glue. They're like an
I
old
can't believe
piece of gum.
ContraPoints has fallen so out of favor that she's on the Sean Hannity show saying stuff like this.
I've said this for years. Republicans create circular firing squads. Democrats, they circle the wagons. There's a big difference. But that's not the environment we live in now. If you go back to the Reagan years, if you go back further, there was a time when they were more rational. And at this point in time, they've become so radicalized, so extreme, so hostile that they would take this country. They're like James Carville's. If they get power, there's going to be D.C. statehood, Puerto Rico statehood. We're going to jam-pack the Supreme Court. We'll end the filibuster, and it'll be one-party rule. They'll Abigail Spanberger every state in terms of gerrymandering for their advantage.
And that will happen if we don't pass the SAVE Act. 100%. I agree with you.
The problem. Most Americans don't know the influence that people like this guy are having and the embrace that they're receiving from prominent Democratic voices. I would argue the list of people, Democrats I just mentioned, that list of Democrats is far more influential, powerful than Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, or any old mainstream Democrat. There aren't any mainstream Democrats. There's one. His name is John and Fetterman. That's it. Every other Democrat has lost their mind. Now, we have a very important midterm
His
election.
number one Democrat is a brain dead comatose
I have an
ogre.
article right here in front of me from today, part of my long research that I do in leading up to today's show. I mean, this is from Axios. Day one, they call it impeachment. Day one, House Democrats are pushing their colleagues to begin to build the case against President Trump now in anticipation of a day one impeachment vote if they retake the House. Why it matters. The mere existence of this movement shows how much pressure Democratic lawmakers will face next January if they retake the House. This article is not off base. And I'm just telling you, if what you saw, and we had on earlier on the program, we were talking to Ken Cuccinelli about this gerrymandering, power grab in Virginia. If you don't know what the radicals that are in charge are thinking, and most normal people, I argue, don't. But I'm going to tell you what the criticism will be. But whether I do this or not, I haven't really fully decided yet. I'm thinking about it. I could
don't
go
cower.
in with a lot of different strategies against this guy, and I don't want to telegraph which one. But the one that I want the most, I want him to talk. I want him to explain.
Do you want him to bring
everything.
the dog that he electrocutes while he talks? That should be a fun background element.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm not wrong. It's on video. Whether he's using a vibration collar or a shock collar, that dog moved too much during his broadcast, and he did whatever he did to it. He's like, I didn't shock it. It's a vibration collar. She was moving too much. I'm like, it's a dog, bro. That's what we're doing now?
You don't believe in, the electric fence?
Hell no. Absolutely not.
Oh, my gosh. Sean Hannity is defending electrocuting dogs.
That's disgusting.
Meanwhile, you overfeed your cat.
Don't stay focused. Don't drift away from Hassan Piker and how much I don't like him.
Oh, I'm making a point off of your point. All right, to our phones, let us say hi to DJ in North Carolina.
Fuck.
Hey, DJ.
His
Hi,
goal is
Sean.
to let me talk.
My
going on?
question is, you just mentioned something about the Democrats wanting to impeach President Trump and everything, and they had come up with the fake whistleblower and all the fake evidence and everything.
Guys, I'm not going to call in. I want to do a fucking full-blown debate. Why would I bust the nut early? You guys are so stupid. You don't know what cum retention is, okay? You don't know how to withhold your orgasm, your nut, until the very last moment, okay? Shut the fuck up. Shut up.
That you keep in mind that you have one important civic duty this year, and that is commit in your heart, your mind, and your soul that you're going to go out and
We're
vote.
doing foreplay
And
right now,
radical people
okay?
we were
We're
just talking
edging.
about,
We're
you're
doing
gonna vote
foreplay.
them out of
This is
power and
tantric
not
sex,
allow them to do what
okay?
they're planning to do. They're already telegraphing what they'll do. James Carville telegraphed it. These people are telling you on day one they will come in power in the House of Representatives and impeach Donald Trump. They don't even have a
Fucking
reason
gooners,
for it.
all
And
of
they'll
you.
And this country will be spiraling out of control into chaos. That they are a party of rage, a party of radical rage. And I don't think most Americans is fully aware of how bad it is, which is part of my thinking that I want people to know more. I know I'll get yelled at because Hannity, you didn't push back hard enough. Hannity, you interrupted too much. Hannity, you platformed this guy. Well, am I better off? Are people better off being ignorant? Let me tell you something. I put this guy on my show. This goes viral. And I have avoided a lot of the, I would call it clickbait attempts that other people have embraced openly to bring on the most extreme people for the very reason is I think it's usually not worthwhile. However, this might be worthwhile for people to educate themselves and realize how bad what I know and what I study every day really is.
His audience is so worried about him debating me that they're literally like, don't do it. And he's like, no, it's fine. It's good. It's good that we're doing it.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith, someone broke into your house. Gee, thanks a lot. Why didn't you stop it? Well, if you had Simply Safe Home Security, they have a better way, comprehensive protection.
Oh, fuck. He's doing an ad. He wants to end you. Yeah. The woman that's talking right now is this Rose Tennant, has been a prominent figure for 20 years and a syndicated conservative talk show host. She's a frequent guest on Sean Hannity and has made several appearances on Fox News. She's currently the spokesperson for a Made in America trade show. Rose serves on the advisory board for Women for Trump Coalition and Moms for America. She's formerly worked as a political liaison for Smaller Manufacturers Council. Wait a minute, she might actually love me if she knows that I only fucking use American garment producers, made in America, baby, and a union shop nonetheless. See, this is the other side of the story. I'm more fucking patriotic than half of these losers. Actually, I'm more patriotic than all of these fucking losers. I want what's best for Americans, okay? Not what's best for Israel, for example. No, these shows can't get mad at real fucking union labor, made in America union labor either. Some of you are saying, oh, they'll say like, some are saying like, oh, they'll say like union labor is evil or whatever. Nah. I'm on hold with the show now. They're going to let me on. Oh, no. Oh, no.
On Hannity Show. You've got it on the home of Dallas Cowboys football and Texoma. KWFS, News Talk 1290 and 96.3.
Don't embarrass me.
Looking for a great deal to stay connected? Now for a limited time, new Verizon Mobile and Frontier Fiber customers can get Fiber 500 internet and a line of mobile for just $54.99 a month with auto.
Don't embarrass me. All right, let's continue. Well,
Such a
we'll
broad
see.
manner that it includes museums, libraries, teaching hospitals, things of that nature.
Well, the mayor says this could impact workers protesting ICE, for example. Now, City Council Speaker Julie Menin issued a statement on the veto that reads in part, quote, ensuring students can enter and exit their schools without fear of harassment or intimidation should not be controversial. This bill simply requires the NYPD to clearly outline how it will ensure safe access when there are threats of obstruction or physical injury, while fully protecting First Amendment rights. Meantime, the Legal Aid Society commended the mayor for the veto, saying in part that it, quote, would significantly expand police presence and discretion in ways that risk undermining the constitutional rights of New Yorkers engaged in First Amendment activity. Now, we will have much more on reaction to all of this coming up today at 5 o'clock on CBS News New York. For now, we are live in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. Alice Gaynor, CBS News New York.
From the civil rights movement in the 1960s to anti-war protests just this month, our city's history is written by those who refuse to stay silent. As mayor, I stand firmly on the side of New Yorkers' right to challenge power. Yes, even mine. Last month, the City Council passed 2 bills related to this right, known as buffer zone.
We already saw this.
Okay.
Go back on Hannity.
It's called Obesity USA. Population 115 million.
Dude, what the fuck? It's not live yet. It's still ads. Chatter said he's on next. I'm losing it. Oh my God.
Insomnia.
Poggers. Do not fuck the bag up, Chatter. I will ban you. I will ban your ass if you fuck it up.
People in Obesity USA can't sleep.
I like that earlier Chatters were like, bro, why are you reading articles about yourself? Why don't you cover the news? Now that I'm covering the news, they're like, dude, get back to Sean Hannity. We need drama right now. Ooh, it's cold as fuck in here, by the way. Holy shit. Bro, Chatter's going to say he's a gay furry or something? No, do not do that.
I think it's time to head back in.
Okay.
God, I'm waiting.
Come back?
Sure.
I'm waiting. No, we just want you to listen. We just want to listen to Hannity. Yeah, finally. You want to hear from a real broadcaster, a consummate professional, one who does not burp in the microphone. Okay? That's what you want to hear from. You want to hear from the most trusted name in news for the past 2 decades, Sean Hannity. Oh, man.
Near you. Also.
God damn, there's so many fucking commercials. What the hell is crazy? Be easy on Rose Tennant. What if Sean ends up liking you like Trump did with Zoran? I think there's a very high likelihood of that happening because these guys are constantly surrounded by major charisma sucks. That's they're surrounded by, like, they are surrounded by fucking horrible dipshits, unfuckable losers. And people like Sean Hannity are, I mean, they're like the football guys, you know what I mean? Some of the Republican hosts they come from a background of at least at some point in time, like having normal social lives, right? So, you know, you can connect with another human being that's a little bit more normal, a little bit more. They ran out of time for me, but they invited me to call back on Monday. Like, think about it this way. They might.
Blockade embargo really going to work. We'll know a lot more by Monday. Linda, this weekend, I'm giving you a very direct order as your boss.
Okay.
You boss. Liam gets Chick-fil-A with the waffle fries, cooked in oil.
Okay.
And all the pizza he wants from Uncle Sean and
wait, the show's over. Show's over.
Yeah.
And a Sprite, as many Sprites as he wants.
How much Pepto-Bismol should I be preparing to buy for this extravaganza?
You need Pepto-Bismol. Who's going to love
I'm going to need a lot of Pepto-Bismol.
All right, that's it for today. Have a great weekend. Thank you for making the show possible.
Boo, Sean! He was vocally strangling his guests within 30 seconds of randomly tuning in. He hates his people. Who Trump posed? Trump criticizes right-wing podcaster Candace Owens. Uh-oh. Candace Owens' stock. What the fuck is this photo? Candace Owens' stock, which was never very high, has fallen a long way. Her attack on the First Lady of France is despicable. I believe in this case, without verification, she is an extremely low IQ individual. I don't understand why he keeps defending the First Lady of France. Like, Candace Owens' line of attack against the First Lady of France is transphobic. And that's and it's conspiratorial. That's exactly the type of shit that his audience loves. If anything, it's like making the insane transphobes hate Trump, maybe. Oh, y'all think it's a pedophile defense? Is that, you think that's what it is? Because the First Lady of France is also a predator. Emmanuel Macron was like underage, I'm pretty sure, right? Wasn't he? So that's like, maybe that's the connection there where he's like, I'm a mutual. I defend anyone who's trying to fuck a 15-year-old. Emmanuel Macron was 15. Brigitte robbed the cradle. Very good. Brigitte was Emmanuel Macron's teacher. Emmanuel Macron's teacher, and they fell in love. He was 14. She was the teacher. And they fell in love. Love, folks. Who amongst us hasn't fallen in love? That type of shit. Okay. Another. By the way, we all know what he's doing when he calls like black and brown people low IQ, right? Like, it's just, at this point, we know what's going on there, right? Like, I don't need to fucking state the obvious here, right? It's pretty clear what's going on there. Okay. Because right after this Candace Owens one, he goes, where is it? Trump, Hakeem high-tax Jeffries is a low IQ individual who is not smart enough to be running the Democratic Party and certainly not smart enough to be involved in running the United States of America. It is people like this who almost destroyed our nation with our high-tax, open border policies. In the future, Hakeem, a fine American name, will forever be known as high-tax. Yeah, we have a better name for Hakeem here. Sex Panther. Hakeem Sex Panther Jeffries. The debate will be, what is this? Senate debate is starting. Okay, I can't watch it on fucking Facebook. Do we have another mirror or something? I don't have a Facebook account, chatters. I don't know how the fuck I'm going to do this. Yeah, there's no way for me to watch this. Do we got a fork? What the hell is this, by the way? Oh, C-SPAN programming.
The debate with 3 Democrats running in Michigan's Senate race, Representative Haley Stevens, Dr. Abdul El Sayed, and State Senator Mallory McMorrow, hosted by the United Auto Workers Union at a political conference in Washington, D.C. They talk about Social Security, affordability, workers' rights, and artificial intelligence.
Wait, this is old, bro. This is literally from February 11th. Man, y'all, find the fucking OG one, please. God damn, dude. Wait, you don't have a Facebook? Who have I been sexting with then? Not me. Stop abusing your chat. Never. The fall off of chat must be studied. True. Honestly, you're so right, dude. You're so right. Chat is fucking fallen off, dude. It is. Chat is dead. Is dead. Chat used to be a place where we had a hive mind. We could find anything around the internet. Ever since I stopped linking stuff, yeah, Bussy Angel. Once you stop linking stuff, it is over. What happened to chat is a reflection of the streamer. True. Community is a reflection of the streamer. We will never take accountability. The Facebook page is getting the Hasanabi treatment. Are you going to live stream the debate? Live stream? Wait, are they just having a debate by themselves? Like, what the fuck's going on? If it's a... What the hell is happening? I live to commute half an hour away and y'all lose your minds. How do I unsubscribe to chat? You cut our wings when you took the top of the hour, Jabez. True. I did. I really did. Starts in 25 minutes, so might be bad link. Please don't shock me. Place. One wait is just me. We're organizing against you. Here's the link, twitch.tv/Hasanabi. Okay, chatter. This debate seems obscure as fuck. It is, but I want to see how he tests his mettle in the marketplace of ideas. This is the cultural background noise of the collapse of the two-party system? Okay, dude. I don't deserve this. I'm leaving. You better fucking stay right where you are. You better stay right the frick where you are. Bruh. I guess it's delayed. At this point, just call Abdul up. Yeah, I'm going to hit him up and be like, yo, King. Yo, turn it on. Put the phone up. Put the phone up to your face. Hasanabi vibes are immaculate today. Yeah, I don't know why I'm in such a good mood. All it took for me was a little bit of socializing, and I went from being like this
negotiating international trade agreements
to being alive,
59 days
dude.
after we stood in this office, and President Trump, standing with Albert Bourla from Pfizer, announced the first of the 17 MFN deals, together with our colleagues from the Department of Commerce under Secretary Letnick's leadership, and from the U.S. Trade Representative's office under the leadership of Ambassador Greer.
Sean Hannity boosted your mood from a 3 to a 10. Oh, that's true. Oh, you woke up.
They agreed to increase significantly.
Oh, never mind. Back to sleep.
Pharmaceuticals for the first time in 26 years. That work continues with other countries. And third, we will continue our work with our partners in Congress to codify the principles that underpin these most favored nation deals, so that
Man is an extrovert living as an introvert. True. As district attorney of San Francisco, it is my solemn duty to safeguard the city for its people and prosperity. If Hassan Piker enters San Francisco city limits, he will be immediately arrested and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. We have zero tolerance policy for theft committed by liberals. If Hasanabi sneaks in and doesn't play by the rules, steals, then I will have J. Connor Bortega use enhanced interrogation methods on him until he reveals the location of Hamas leaders. Pull up to Sonoma County. The DA is a Hasanabi head. Nice. I did the math comparing your streams and mood, and your best moods are on weeks where you stream gaming and or Chad Vice. So do those on stream more often if you want to be in a good mood more often. What did you do, Unc? Oh yeah, Stavros told me he's Greek, so I beat his ass and broke his arm. It's true. I can't believe that this fucking got 16,000 likes, by the way. What did she say to deserve this? What is this? This is criminal. In prison. Oh, it's true. She got banned from San Francisco. They did that shit. They did that shit. She doesn't even know it. Anyway. Okay, where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? All right, we did that. We did that. High tax.
This community who felt that video, because you're standing in.
Oh, remember when I showed the Zoram Dani thing, the Your Rage? And he was like, yeah, that's kind of beast mode. That's how you sell the stuff, okay? When are you going to tell Kai she's adopted? She's not. I gave birth to her. What the fuck's wrong with you? How dare you say that? This is my biological daughter. Mpreg.
Front of one of his homes, you're calling him out, that it sort of crossed the line in terms that you were personalizing it. And in this environment, politics is very polarized. Some people were thinking about the United Healthcare CEO who was assassinated. Do you have any regrets about doing that? I noticed that, the day after you did the video, you did not invoke his name again. You gave some other examples. But do you regret doing that video?
That home, when it was purchased, was the most expensive home in the United States of America. It's publicly reported, and it was described as such. And in a political environment where there is always an attempt to describe any increase in taxes as if it would be one that would apply to all, we wanted to make very clear that this applies to a very select group of properties. And the reason that I gave other examples of this is that this piece of legislation is not motivated by any one individual. Rather, it is one that applies broadly, without exemption. And so the next day I spoke about a Saudi prince who bought an apartment for $90 million, a Russian auto dealer who bought an apartment for close to $30 million in cash. I say these things not because I do not want these individuals to be here in New York City or to purchase property in New York City, but rather to outline that we are talking about a proposal that will have a very narrow impact and one that is being driven by an intention to ensure that everyone can remain in the city, including those that are taxed by it.
Thank you so much. That's all the time we've got.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Pneumatic Toaster, reach out to the mods. I saw your message.
Brooklyn Council member Chio Say released from police custody this afternoon.
I'm sorry if I'm a little spacey. My head.
New York City Council member, Hasanabi head, weightlifter, Chiose, was apprehended physically and violently by the New York Police Department the other day as he was trying to defend a constituent from being evicted from their home. And he was brutalized. Chiose is of Nigerian and Chinese descent. Not that it's relevant to the conversation, but he's also a part of the Chinese American coalition that we are also a part of. As you know, I'm white Chinese, he's black Chinese. Okay, there's many different versions of us out there. But yeah, he got brutalized. And there is a common practice that is actually kind of unfucking believable called deed theft that takes place in New York City. Okay? And we'll get into it a little bit. Chi himself has talked about this already. Chiose recently came out of the closet as a straight man as well. That's right. Or I guess technically back in the closet, whichever way you want to call it. It happens all over New York State. We'll get into it in a second.
The pavement pretty hard today.
Police pushed Councilmember Osei to the ground and arrested him as he tried to help a constituent, Carmela Charrington, who was battling eviction this morning from her Bed-Stuy home.
It's horrible that they would do that to even him.
Osei has been working to help Charrington reverse what she says was an act of deed theft. Bad actors, who she says duped her elderly father and stole the title to their Brooklyn building.
We've been in this property for over 60 years, and we were trying to explain this to the courts and let the courts know that whatever they did was illegal.
News of the arrest hit as Mayor Zohran Mamdani was attending an unrelated news conference in Queens.
He's like face down on the floor getting handcuffed. Okay. You know, are you able to comment on...
I mean, that's incredibly concerning to hear, and that's exactly something that we're going to follow up on.
Mayor Mamdani promised to make deed theft one of his top housing priorities.
Which he has, by the way. In the aftermath of this controversy, I guess if you want to call it that, this unjustifiable, flagrant violation of the NYPD, once again, doing excessive use of force. Zohran Mamdani now has a prosecutor on the deed theft situation. Like, they're going to be conducting more investigations into it. Chiose came out and defended Zohran
during the campaign.
The council member is rightly passionate about tackling the scourge of deed theft.
But Mayor Mamdani's NYPD quickly today coming under scrutiny for its handling of the situation, which began when...
Dude, that's crazy. Mayor Mamdani's NYPD.
Marshals and the city sheriff this morning called for police backup. They said protesters had made it impossible for them to complete a court-ordered eviction that had been signed by a judge. Osei said he would file a misconduct complaint.
They slammed me against the concrete.
Mayor Mamdani later posted he had seen the concerning footage and was in touch with Commissioner Tisch about the nature of the arrest.
As soon as I saw that video, that's the conversation we started to have, because what New Yorkers want to know is that everything that they're seeing is actually in line with what it should be.
Outside the 79th Precinct, Council Speaker Julie Menon also said she had spoken with Commissioner Tisch.
I spoke to the police commissioner to ask for his immediate release.
The NYPD says their takedown of Councilmember Osei was within department guidelines for an arrest involving someone who they say was trying to commit an act of obstruction of governmental administration. They say that Councilmember Osei resisted officers' efforts to restrain him and pushed past the police when they tried to stop him from blocking the eviction.
Yeah, sometimes called deed fraud. Home title theft happens when a criminal uses forged documents to fraudulently transfer someone's property deed into their name. This gives the scammer the ability to then sell the property to an unsuspecting third party, pocketing the profits. It's a fairly commonplace practice in New York State, especially in New York, in a lot of underserved communities. It targets a lot of vulnerable populations, including, especially black and brown populations. They prey on the elderly. It's really fucking vile.
Osei and other council members said more needs to be done to stop deed theft, which they say is up 300% in New York City and disproportionately targets senior citizens and communities of color.
I went up to Albany to pressure the governor to do right by the people of New York and do right by black homeowners and keeping them in their home. The governor bailed on our meeting.
A source close to Hochul said Councilmember Osei had been invited to attend a meeting in Albany with the governor's housing team, but not with the governor herself. A Hochul spokesperson said in a statement, Councilmember Osei has been a strong advocate for his community, and the governor is relieved he is out of custody. No New Yorker should be cheated out of the opportunity to keep their home.
We thank you.
Yeah, hold on. There was more. Chiyosan Zoran Mamdani, he comes out. He says, I hate this narrative around this mayor not being a mayor for black people. The last mayor was black, and he didn't do crap on deed theft.
Thank you to Mayor Mamdani. Can I be real for a second? I hate this narrative around this mayor not being a mayor for black people. The last mayor was black, and he didn't do crap on deed theft. So I really want to acknowledge this mayor for taking a step and putting money where his mouth is and opening this.
She's Haitian, not Nigerian? I thought he was. Didn't he tell me on the broadcast that he had some Nigerian in him too? Am I crazy? Anyway, I'll be hanging out with Chi and lifting some weights next time I'm in New York, which will be next week. I will be in New York next week starting Monday. I'll also be going to Philadelphia. I will also be going to Missouri. So yeah. He will be lift mogging me. He will be butt mogging me as well. Let's be real. He can outlift me 100%. Is someone in a bordering state fucking why? I'm going to be hanging out with Cori Bush in Missouri. You got no ass, bro? No, I have ass. But he can out deadlift me. DC again when? DC was supposed to be today, ironically enough. I got invited to some Washington, DC White House Correspondents' Dinner events. I chose not to go because I didn't want to extend the trip. I already have too much time away from home. So I didn't want to also extend it by like almost an additional 3-4 days. So I'm still here rather than in DC. I will be linking up with Ebro and Rosenberg. Yes. I will be when I'm in New York, and Trevor Noah as well. That's right. I got a bunch of stuff lined up in New York. You're such a couch potato. That's crazy to say that about me. I have been roaming. Okay. I have been all around the country. What the fuck? I'm talking about, I've announced going. Hey, I'm an organizer in the New School for a conference with Zoran admin people and 20 plus professors. Adam 2s. It's 5-2. Interested in coming? No. No disrespect. I will not be able to make it to that. They're live. Is live? It's not live here. Does anyone have a link? Stop sending me a Facebook link. I'm not going to watch it on Facebook. I will not be watching it on Facebook. I cannot watch it on Facebook. if you guys download the video after the fact or live broadcast it, or if you can find a mirror, then that's fine. But yeah, I mean, we're waiting for this, but it's not working. We're going to find out that the Israeli embassy put out some memo to attack Piker on the advice of a highly paid pollster. Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, it is that is what's going on. I hope people understand. Like, that's not a ridiculous suspicion. Abso-fucking-lutely 100%. There is definitely some people in positions of power that have put the beat out on me. Refresh the YouTube page. I mean, there's a countdown. There's a 5-minute countdown. Maybe it'll start when the candidates start answering questions, potentially. You are on top chat and on live chat. I'm not trying to see all of you motherfuckers trying to reach out to me on the YouTube chat, okay? I don't care about that. Yeah, there's definitely been a noticeable increase in the attacks that Track APAC has been receiving as well. I thought that was interesting. People are talking about their tracker being busted and bad and wrong and all this shit. I did notice that as well. Anyway, hello.
Zoran Mamdani unveiled a new initiative to try and stop the predatory practice of deed theft here in New York City. Mamdani says this is a problem that is preyed mostly upon communities of color. And now he says the new Office of Deed Theft Prevention will aim to help victims get their homes back. Eyewitness News reporter NJ Burkett live this afternoon in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. NJ?
And right, Sandra, the new Office of Deed Theft Prevention will raise
Dog
awareness
is private.
and will also connect victims
Your video
and
mirroring it is
potential
private.
victims with advice and assistance. As you said, Mayor Mamdani made the announcement here in Bedford-Stuyvesant this morning. It's focused on rapidly gentrifying communities where developers and speculators are seeking real estate, and often at a terrible price, to the people who've lived in these communities and developed these neighborhoods. In some cases, Sandra, signatures are forged on deeds. In other cases, homeowners are tricked into signing documents and either signing away their homes, or they're tricked into selling them for a fraction of their actual value. Yes, it all comes days after City Council member Chi Osei was arrested with several others while protesting the eviction of a woman who says her deed was stolen after she'd been living in her home for decades. The mayor says the new office.
I'm grateful for the opportunity this evening.
Nice.
Good evening. You know, the Council of Baptist Pastors, Detroit and vicinity, was created in 1965 to focus on community and social justice.
God, the audio is so bad. I know she sounds like Bobby Hill, bro. I know.
Who's put up my hands for Michigan time and time again as a daughter of Michigan, as a daughter of small business owners. My dad also taught first grade right here in the city of Detroit, and he loved every minute of it. And he also told me, hey, do not try and do not ever be the smartest person in any room. And that is what has motivated my career of public service. I'm putting up my hand for Michigan in tough moments, like when we were experiencing a great recession, where I worked for President Obama, saving General Motors and Chrysler and 200,000 Michigan jobs.
What do you got to say?
My friends, right now is another
What do you got to say?
Donald Trump doesn't give a whit about who we are, what we do, and what we need. Healthcare, jobs, well-funded schools. That's what I am fighting for now in the Congress, and that is what I do.
So Little John, thank you so much. To the council, thank you so much for having us here today. And to both of the folks also running for this seat, it takes a lot of courage to run, so thank you.
Oh, she's so heavy.
I am a physician in epidemiologist. I became a doctor because I had to go 15 hours to Egypt where my folks immigrated from, or 15 minutes from where I grew up, into neighborhoods in the city. Either way, I traveled 10 years difference in life expectancy. I wanted to do something about it. Got the opportunity to rebuild Detroit's health department after it had been shut down. Lead Wayne County's Department of Health, Human and Veteran Services.
How much does she weigh? 120 pounds.
Since we introduced that program to the city of Detroit across the state of Michigan. Took on corporate polluters, made sure our kids weren't drinking lead and water in their schools. We made sure we put air quality monitors all over Wayne County. The senator decided that he was not seeking re-election. And I realized, where is the fight for the public's health now? We're running a campaign to do three things. Get money out of politics, put money in your pocket, and pass Medicare for all. I've been now in 9 different cities.
We should go to the park every day, twice a day. Bro, this audio is so ass. I don't want to watch it, and there's no CC. Kaya, go. No, I'm not. I can't watch this, bro. I'm sorry. Like, I want to watch this, but I cannot understand what the fuck they're saying. You know, apologies to everybody, but it's laggy. I can't hear it. I can't understand it. Can you boost audio or something? Sorry to be that guy. No, I can't, dude. What do you want me to fucking do? They're not filtering. They're not using the proper audio channels in their live stream. It's a bunch of boomers in a church. They didn't do the proper production. Anyway, put your mic closer to him. Can you not go there? Yeah, I could. I just choose not to. I'm there right now. I'm in Michigan right now. I brought my entire setup behind me to Michigan, and I chose not to go to the place. I'm in Michigan currently. I'm in Lansing. Yeah, I'm in Detroit. It was for the congregation too, and I'm a part of the congregation. Kyle was on ABC News.
Jay, what is the Hot Rotisserie Chicken Act, and why is it being proposed?
Yeah, hey there, Ash. And this is a pretty narrowly tailored bill. All it really does is allow for those Americans on food benefits, SNAP food assistance, what used to be called food stamps, to be able to buy hot rotisserie chicken in grocery stores and places like Costco, because right now the...
That's crazy. They can buy a Kaya. All right. Fucking. All right, let's move on.
Mayor Mamdani is cracking down on deed theft. This morning, the mayor announced that his administration is creating the city's first Office of Deed Theft Prevention. Earlier this month, a CBS News New York investigation found that deed theft complaints to the New York AG's office have tripled in recent years, with a 240% increase in the past 2 years alone. The mayor says deed theft significantly impacts neighborhoods in Brooklyn and Queens and disproportionately affects people of color.
The Office of Deed Theft Prevention will coordinate closely with HPD and our city's Commission on Human Rights to educate homeowners across the 5 boroughs, particularly those in neighborhoods with the highest rates of predatory reverse redlining. And the team will work with the Homeowner Help Desk to provide resources and connect property owners to legal counsel.
City Councilman Chiosei was at today's announcement. He and 3 other people were arrested 2 days ago in Brooklyn at a protest against a woman being evicted from her longtime home.
We have some news right now. A top Trump official, counterterrorism official, is now allegedly under...
I forgot to cover this story, and I've literally had it on the docket nonstop. But it's time. It's time. Now that the real news goat, Aaron Parnas, is covering it, it's time for me to cover it as well. New top Trump counterterrorism official faces investigation for alleged sugar daddy relationship. Security experts sound the alarm. Okay, this is an awooga ass story.
Investigation within the Department of Homeland Security by the Inspector General for using sugar daddies to afford their exorbitant lifestyle. That, according to new reporting from the Daily Mail. Now, I want to preface this. It doesn't matter what people do in their personal lives. That's not the issue. The issue is, according to security experts, that this type of investigation could open up the senior counterterrorism official to blackmail, bribery, etc., and could compromise her role with...
Again, you can't blackmail someone who's shameless. It's that simple.
In the federal government. The official is Julia Varvaro, who has served as a Deputy Assistant Secretary for Counterterrorism within the Department of Homeland Security. And one man named Robert submitted an official complaint.
Not gonna lie, that Hogalette is pretty fine. I am not a misogynist, and therefore I don't see the attractiveness of women. Okay, as a feminist, I don't acknowledge when someone is attractive. When a woman is attractive or not, I will make no statement on it. I will, however, say She's horny is crazy. I will, however, say I believe that she also worked for the previous administration as well.
To the inspector general, alleging he spent $40,000
Yeah,
on
she
her
worked
for a
under Biden
3-month
for
fling.
FEMA.
And the complaint has been filed with the inspector general, an official complaint. Now, according to a former CIA officer, the claims are troubling because allegations of a sugar daddy relationship and unreported income are serious issues for DHS security personnel. Quote, I would be curious to see what kind of vetting was done on her prior to her employment. The complaint also observed her ingesting marijuana on numerous occasions, as well as recreational use of, and security experts claims
recreational use of Xanax. He claimed he warned her that this could put her top secret clearance in jeopardy, but that she indicated she was not concerned because she was above being tested. Ooh, that's a boss ass right there. That's a boss ass bee, queen bee. Security expert who spoke to Daily Mail warned behaviors in the complaint like a sugar daddy arrangement created serious vulnerabilities. Now, what I find insane about this admin is there is something unique to this admin. And that is everyone's doing it, okay? Everyone is scheming. I have never seen something this flagrant. Like, in the past, you had people that would engage in schemes, right? Con men, things of that nature. Sometimes they get caught. Obviously, the famous cases of wheeling and dealing, such as like the Clinton Institute, they engaged in complex financial maneuvering, going through different corporate subsidiaries, like creating offshore accounts, things of that nature. Nowadays, the schemes are at a smaller level. They're much more open and much more flagrant. It's like it's very strange. Like the way that these guys operate is like they just openly do low-level corruption, and there's a larger tie-in here as well. I'm gonna get to that in a second. There's the Maduro raid that ties into this story as well.
Essentially, that could put her clearance in jeopardy. That's where we're at right now. As always, let me know what you think. Spread the word. Follow for more.
He's the biggest.
Secret sugar daddy sex scandal explodes inside Trump's counterterrorism headquarters. Yeah, Trump says the world is a casino. Everybody transgender, everything computer. The world is a casino. He's so fucking awesome. I feel like the bigger story isn't the sugar baby stuff, but the fact that she was FEMA program analyst under the Biden admin who somehow convinced Trump to hire her as the deputy assistant secretary for counterterrorism. I think we know how she did that. I'm going to be super honest with you. Trump does have a pattern of just like literally putting sexy women into whatever position they want to be in. Like that's like no disrespect. I know I just said I'm a feminist. I can't acknowledge if a woman is hot or not, but like he does put baddies in charge all the time. Like it is a little, yeah, it's the Gaddafi method for sure. Yeah, I think obviously, you know, there are non-baddies that he also puts into places of power that have no business being there. People that, you know, like Laura Loomer, free spirit. Obviously, she's not a baddie, right? Caroline Leavitt. But I will say this. I will say Susie Wiles, sheesh. If she was blonde, you would be going awooga, hamana, Hassan, white women, or exotic piker. Bro, I'm trying my very best not to go awooga on this situation to maintain my credibility as a feminist. Otherwise, I would be disparaging other W feminists, Your Rage Gaming, who just did a collab stream with me. It would ruin his feminist cred, okay? That's what it is. That's what it is. Yes, she's hot, bro. Yes. What do you want me to fucking say? Yes. Julia Varvaro is a fucking babe, okay? Is that what you want to hear? Is that what you want to hear? Yeah, she's hot, dude. Yeah. Sure. I was her sugar daddy only for a little bit, okay? It's not illegal on my end, at least. It might be illegal for her. That was just for a little bit. Another Trump team embarrassment. DHS counterterrorism official Julia Varvaro under investigation over sugar daddy complaint. Varvaro, 29, and also not a weird age gap. Okay, just remember, I'm only 34. She's 29. It's not a weird age gap relationship. All right. Trump's Deputy Assistant Secretary for Counterterrorism is facing a formal DHS Inspector General complaint after a man claims he spent $40,000. God damn. 40 grand in 3 months? What the fuck is wrong with these people, bro? That is crazy. Okay, sorry. In 3 months on luxury trips and Cartier jewelry, and she told him her collection was trophies from her sugar daddies. She allegedly told him she was above being tested when he warned the arrangement could jeopardize her top secret clearance, and texted from a Homeland Security conference, "They call me secretary. I like it. I'm the boss, princess." Former CI officer is now asking for a full background investigation. How a full background investigation missed all this? The administration that promised to hire only the best is currently investigating its own counterterrorism office. You cannot make this up. All credit to Daily Mail. She's a horny. Here are some $2,000, half your rent due to furlough. Shoes, so cute. They're playing billiards. I need M-Sculpt Neo. If your friend doesn't do it, can you call this place and set up a package for me, please? Or maybe there's a med spot in Frederick that does it. It's like something I have to go to once a week. I'll check, but we could just go to the gym. I need to anyway. Oh my gosh, she hit the thumbs down. I'm not used to having to ask like this for a simple card or help with my rent, especially being furloughed. Any pass? Oh my God. Trump, Doge cooked her. Doge cooked her. I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was illegal to support people working in public office like this. I didn't realize that you woke libtards hated supporting women's rights and women's wrongs. Okay? Don't forget this asshole shocks his dog. It's true. Kaya, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Ooh. I'm zapping her right now. Look, she's wagging her tail with excitement. She loves the zap now. I've ruined her. Okay, go. Place. I didn't realize that it was we're getting mad at people who are supporting our federal government employees that were furloughed, by the way. It's kind of fucked up. If you ask me, I think it should not be illegal. Anyway, yeah, it's mutual aid. It's mutual aid. Yeah, as Hoscord would say, this is mutual aid. Where else? What else were we gonna do here? This is a quote from a former top Bondi aide. Part of the reason the weaponization. Oh, this was what I was going to show you guys. Part of the reason the weaponization work has been difficult is that you need people who are MAGA and who are really competent, said Chad Mizell, former chief of staff for Bondi. Many career prosecutors are not interested in this kind of work. It's a very small group of people. Mizell worked alongside Blanche and knows that even if the Justice Department can bring a case against one of Trump's top political adversaries, they will be up against top defense attorneys. In the end, Mizell said he is confident Blanche will be successful in these prosecutions. Yeah, I don't think so. All right. So that was one of the issues in the admin, right? We got a sugar baby that's just trying to make ends meet. It's really fucked up. It's really fucked up that they were complaining about, bro, all you say is slop. True. Well, we are living in a slopiverse right now, so. And you said chat fell off. Julia Vervaro did nothing wrong. Oh my God, there's someone at The Spectator defending this woman. That is crazy. Bro is down abysmal.
Damn, this guy's good.